morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, we're going to get to a lot today. And when I say a lot, what shocked me the most is that it's being reported that the mother had to give up funds in order to protect Cassie from Diddy. And I'm going to get to everything. I'm going to go ahead and do my disclaimer. I hope everyone's having a great morning. Um, I was knocked out, but I had to go live early. The earlier, the better sometimes. But I'm going to get through my disclaimer. We're going to get to some stuff what happened yesterday, what's expected alleged today. Meaning it's possible Kid Cudi will show up to testify, and it's going to talk, it's going to be conversation in regards to what Cassie went through. And he did try and spend time with her, and then she got back with Diddy. So we're gonna get through a few different things. Oh, hold on. Allow me a second to get myself set up over here, and let's do my disclaimer. Um, I always do that through every video to protect my page. I'm all about that. Hello. But we're definitely gonna get through some things. Okay, there's my super chat thing. It wasn't there yesterday. Okay, so we're gonna get to let's go ahead. Let's see. Just give me a second. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Come on in, come on in. Good morning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. So just give me a second. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. So we're going to get to, like I said, good morning, everyone. We're going to get to a few different things. What happened, what transpired, what's going on with the case, what's being talked about. And you guys, I wish, and see, this is the one thing I deal with. I literally could have did my show with all the clips I saw. I just saw a clip in regards to Cassie growing up, spending time with her family. Um, People are talking about her being able to take the stand and still speak, even though she got a settlement from him. And I told y'all 2 days ago, told y'all that some of these people might have signed a deal to be on that stand. They're gonna be like, I'm a sign something, or I'm gonna get, hmm, approval to speak, and so that way you don't come after me from what my or their, let me take that back, their testimony is, because I don't know these people. So understand, people are being spoken, people are speaking out, and people that's taking the stand, they're doing better. They're taking their time, but what I do notice is that they're asking some of the same questions in a different way just to trip these people up from taking a stand. They want to make some of these people seem like liars. Okay? He's in jail. He's the one that's, you know what I'm saying? But they still want to make some of these people seem like liars, which is, I get it. And that's what, the attorneys think they're supposed to do. And I'm glad that when Diddy's assistant spoke up. Let's talk. Good morning, everyone. Come on in. Come on. I'm so happy when Diddy's assistant, and it was somebody else. It might have been the assistant. They had asked, "What did you talk about with the feds?" And he was like, "How you're gonna, good morning, how you're gonna, kind of how you're gonna ask me questions or whatever." But I appreciate that people are doing better on the stands. They're, and the one guy, they're saying the assistant yesterday, they had a good old time with him yesterday. He would ask questions, he would answer them. There was a lot, it was a little bit lighter yesterday. A lot of kikis, a lot of laughs. It's a serious situation, but the assistant covered a lot. How he got the job, the things that he had to go through. Diddy allegedly was out and about, and allegedly in the media, it has stated that Diddy had had a situation with Cassie and he touched her, and it was out there. I kind of remember the post from where alleged came from. So Diddy was mad at the assistant that the post was out there because, of course, once it's available at night, then it's gonna trend all day. So Diddy didn't want it out there that he had laid hands on Cassie. So the assistant was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He was like, "What you doing? What you doing? Did you see the most recent post that I put my hands on Cassie?" He's like, "What are you talking about? I haven't seen anything." So then, alleged, Diddy went on the assistant's computer to see if he posted it. Oh, you want to act silly like you ain't seen what the media's talking about? You supposed to be assisting me and helping me. So then Diddy alleged goes on his computer history to see if he was the one that put out the alleged blind item. And the assistant was like, "I just don't know what's going on. It wasn't me." Baby, for an employer to go through your history and think you're the one that's putting out stories is crazy to me. The biggest thing is the assistant went through a lot. So there was a time, good morning. Are we talking about the court case, baby? We're going to talk about the court case. We're going to talk about what happened with the mama. I cannot believe this man asked money for Cassie's family. He asked, let's go there. Did he ask for money from Cassie's family to not put out videos? They stated that was from 2011 or 12. I think it was 2011. Let me tell you, Cassie, this is where I'm not happy with you because it's being alleged that Diddy asked the family for money to not put out stuff about Cassie. So Cassie's thinking in her mind, if Diddy puts this tape out, it was an alleged threat. Yes, extortion, baby. He was trying to extort her family, her mama and daddy. He was trying to extort Cassie's family. It was, like I said, 2011 or 12. I think it was 11. Don't quote me. Take it with a grain of salt. But he had asked Cassie's family for 20K to not put these tapes out. So of course, Cassie panicking. She's like, I've modeled at a young age. I put out this great, music. I'm trying to produce great music. And then you try and extort her family, and then for her to take that stand and act like she not mad at this dude. Whenever you bring my family into it, her family, whenever you bring her family into it, Cassie should have been done. Stick a fork in it. Stop playing with me. You got my mama panicking, you got my daddy panicking, and then they took out a second mortgage on their home to get that man 20K. And they're saying in less than 2 weeks, that money was given back to them. What? The mama and daddy had to take out a second mortgage to get this man money, and then in 2 weeks later, it was back in her. They gave it back. Could you imagine the conversations between Cassie, her mama, the family? We got to put this. We got to find some money. Cassie didn't have the money, so she wasn't rich with this dude. Did y'all catch that, T? Cassie didn't have no 20K. She was a young girl modeling, and she had money then. She get with this dude, she don't have hardly no money. So catch that T. Catch that T. He was controlling, and he was also trying to control her family and putting fear in them. So anybody that was near Cassie, by Cassie, love Cassie, he wanted to put fear in them for what could happen, and they would be on eggshells, walking around conversation to ask the mother to come up with 20K and then you just give it back. I hope they go through his records to find that 20K in regards to the wire transfer, because that's a huge problem in regards to extortion. Yes, he's a billionaire. Cassie should have had that money, but she didn't. So he stripped her. And mind you, when Cassie was young, this is what's being alleged. When Cassie was young, making money modeling, because remember back in the day, we used to see sales ads and they'd have young people, J.C. Penney, Sears, young ads. Cassie was modeling, doing pretty good. They say she was making almost 200K a year. So she was doing well for herself. And then for if she was doing that same thing now, making, modeling for different things, she'd be making almost 400K. Cassie was doing well for herself. So to get with this dude, women teach your daughters different. If he's not showing growth and making you a better person, mind, body, soul, spirit, leave him. He was controlling this girl and everything she did, she thought, everything. She didn't come out with great music after being with him. She didn't. She did some stuff. She did some stuff. I'm not gonna say she didn't, but the choices that were made, the control continued. So even when she'd get out of a situation, she would go back. So allegedly the money went back to the mom and the dad. But I would have told them, if he's willing to threaten and trying to extort us, he'll do it again. It was a control thing to check the temperature with the family. I'm telling y'all, what these two were dealing with had happened. They were on substances. This is the most toxic situation I've ever heard of. Real talk. The grabbing, the constant situations injuring her, the dark spots on her body from what happened. And this is the one biggest thing. You see how gorgeous she is. Why would you try to injure or hurt a gorgeous person like this to break her spirit? Now, what else did some of his other girlfriends go through? Cassie's more beautiful than most of the women he dated. Real talk. But you played a lot of mind games with her and her family, which was concerning. Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Would you want your daughter going back to an abusive man? Would you want your daughter going back to an abusive man? And then you try to extort our family saying you're going to put out tapes? I would have made my daughter stay away from that dude because he's not well. And then maybe they should have said it that way. He's not well. You can't help and assist. You can't be around. Because each time, each time would get worse. I could not imagine. You gonna ask me for 20K and I gotta put out I gotta get a second mortgage on my house to protect my daughter's image, and then a week or two later, you send that money back. Now, I don't know if it collected interest and they still owe more on top of the 20K. I don't know how that works. But for Cassie to get the money from Diddy, I get it. And then for Cassie to get the money from the hotel, I get it. I would have been asking for money too. She definitely probably gave some money to her family. She probably did. And I hope she get a big house, and I hope she get a better house for her family, because if they're still in the house, if they're still in the house where they had to get that second mortgage, I wouldn't want to be in that house no more. I would want a fresh start on every situation. You involve my family. I know you flipping lying. Yesterday I was ticked off, but it was the decision she kept making. She kept going back. Mothers teach your daughters different. If a man is not treating your daughters like a queen, it's a problem. If they are breaking their spirit down, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and they breaking them down, tell them that ain't good. He will continue, or she will continue to break you down till you are not yourself no more. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. If you're watching from a phone, please hit the like button. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Please hit the like button. All you got to do is double tap the screen. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. All you have to do is double tap that screen to hit the like. It's a thumbs up above the video, below the video. But YouTube make it easy now. All you got to do is double tap the screen you're on. And I found that most of my people are watching from tablets or phone. Yeah, so double tap that screen. Let's get the likes up. So I would be fearful for my daughter of what he would say next. And then why? Okay, so why did he basically get mad? What they're saying in court, he got mad because Cassie was trying to date somebody else. Baby. So you mad and you trying to extort my family for 20K because you mad because she trying to date somebody else. That's why you want to put tapes out on her? That's why? You're mad because she want to move on when you're over here with your baby mama raising your kids, but she can't be with nobody else? He broke her down to where she could not even think straight. But she kept going back. She kept going back. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. She kept going back, and I would have an issue with that. So we're going to get to some videos of what happened in court, what transpired. But yeah, that's a concern for me. Like the video as you guys come in. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. We're going to get to some clips so we can get, what the news is saying and what transpired. I always try and bring y'all a little TTT, but everyone found it interesting of how they handled the assistant. The assistant seemed bright, intelligent, and they didn't really trip him up. So every person that takes that stand, they're going to try and make them seem like a liar. So people that worked around Diddy, that was around Diddy, is taking their stands. Okay, and we talked about that. Did they sign agreements? And they keep asking people now. Did you sign an agreement to be on the stand? Did you sign an agreement to be here? Yeah. So that's interesting. So Diddy's team is trying to find out, why are you here? Because not everybody has a lawsuit against Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Be kind in the comments. YouTube will block you. I don't have to do nothing. Be kind in the comments. Okay, so let's get to this clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Continue to double tap that screen. There's about 300 people in the building. Can I please get 300 people to please subscribe and thank you? Let's continue.
Testimony is now underway in the federal sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs. Today, several of Cassie Ventura's former friends were on the stand, as well as Diddy's former personal assistant. We're also getting a look tonight at some of the photo evidence the jury saw in this case, depicting injuries, drugs, and baby oil. Yes, the infamous baby.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, the pictures in regards to Cassie, I couldn't post them. I was going to do a short regarding it and then just cover it up with flowers, but I just couldn't do it. It was just hard to look at. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Oil we have heard so much about in the lead up to this trial. We're going to talk with legal contributor Bernarda Villalona in just a moment. But first up, Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles with a recap of what happened in court.
The 4-day testimony of Cassie Ventura in the Sean Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial in the rear view, but the testimony of the 3 witnesses Monday, all about Ventura. Returning to the stand, Don Richard, a cast member of the show The Making of the Band, and a member of 2 singing groups founded by Combs. Prosecutors asking, was Mr. Combs made aware of these discussions? Richard responding, yes. How did he respond? Richard telling the court that Combs told her, stay the expletive out of my relationship. Y'all expletives are here to work. Stay out of my expletive relationship. The singer also testifying that after a 2009 skillet attack against Ventura, Combs told her the next day that Cassie was okay, and if we said anything, people could go missing. Prosecutors asking Richard, what do you take that to mean? Richard answering, that we could die. But attorneys for Combs sharply pointing out inconsistencies in Richard's account, asking if she knows the difference between hitting her with the skillet and attempting to hit her with the skillet or sitting it down. Defense attorneys asking, you have about 4 different recollections of what happened that day. Richard responding, no, I recall to the best of my ability. And as for the alleged threat, asking why Richard just told federal prosecutors about it for the first time last week. You didn't tell federal prosecutors that people go...
Yeah, she did tolerate a lot, but you understand, when she tries to leave, he grabs her. When she tries to move on, he goes to get her, whether it's his team or the assistant. She was in such a controlled situation. She had stated yesterday or whatever, she said there was hardly no way to get out. And then somebody had asked him, why you choose Cassie, and he had said something about it's easy to mold her. Baby, he knew what he was doing. He didn't want to let her go because he had a he had a situationship where she was fulfilling a lot of things his other relationship wasn't doing. And see, Cassie didn't catch that. She was used in a way she didn't catch that. There was probably never going to be, he wanted her to be so famous, because if she became too famous, she would leave his butt alone anyway. So he dangled stuff in her face, and she didn't even realize that. Okay, so did you catch this, T? He didn't want her around in certain holidays, but in freak offs, FOs, she was called like his wife. Not in real life. I'm not the girlfriend. I'm not around your children like that. Only in FOs that she was like the wife. Did y'all catch that? Around other people, I'm the wife, I'm the girl. But in certain situations, she could not be around his kids, living at his house, which is a good thing. In certain times, she had space. But only in those situations, she was the wife. Oh, my husband wants to do something special for me. Come on in. Oh, we're throwing a bachelorette party. You understand? He played games with her like that in regards to the FOs. That's the time she's your wife. That's the time he's your husband. You understand what I'm saying? So it was such control that she didn't even catch it. If he didn't help boost her career after 1 year, she should have left him alone. She didn't even leave him alone when she tried to extort her family. Baby, she was in a controlled situation. And every year, it alleged, seems it got worse. It got worse. Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. And I saw a video when she was young. She said, I always knew I'd be famous. I always knew I'd be famous. So when you got a young girl thinking that, it strips of I know I'm be famous. I just gotta hang in there a little bit longer. Okay, I'm working with so and so next month. This will kick off. Okay, I'm working on this movie. This is gonna kick off. After she left him, we really didn't. She was too damaged. Alleged, she was too damaged. And see, that's what a lot of people are seeing. People that worked nearby, some of them dealt with concerns after being around him, near him, because they said, how is it possible that my employer or who I'm working with is this toxic? How is it possible? And then y'all know that they mentioned that he is bipolar. So that's why a lot of people, some did okay. That's why a lot of people after him didn't do well, because they were mentally and physically not well. And even when she was going to go on the tour, she said she didn't want to be away from her kids. Once she got the money, it's like she could breathe now. She got the money to take care of herself and her family. And it's like, too, why go on tour separating yourself from your family when you feel like you finally can breathe and you got some type of victory over this man? There was a celebration of, I don't have to work as hard. I can provide for my family and I can be around my kids. And she needed a break. That was a lot to put the book out. That was a lot to talk to those lawyers and win that case. Now, I don't know if her canceling the tour messed things up for her and she had to pay for that. I don't know who was going to do the tour with her and if she took that financial gain on trying to have a tour. You understand? So let's continue. Fair use reaction.
Missing a comment that you testified you could die. You don't remember that? Richard responding, no, I don't know about the notes that were taken. Also Monday, federal prosecutors releasing evidence in the case for the very first time. Baby oil in Ziploc bags and pictures of Ventura.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Please press 1 if you're watching from a phone. Please press 1 if you're watching from a phone. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like button. Just double tap the screen to hit the like button. There's about 388 in the building. Please subscribe and turn on your notification. We bring the TTT of what's going on in the court and outside the court. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Thank you for hitting the like. I see the numbers going up. Thank you. Let's continue.
Injuries.
Thank you. Thank you.
A fat lip after the 2016 hotel assault. Today, we also heard from Carrie Morgan. She and Cassie Ventura were best friends almost 20 years. She testified that after that 2016 hotel attack, that Sean Combs came to Cassie Ventura's home. He was beating on her front door with a hammer. They never answered the door on that, and they say their friendship came to an end in 2018 when she said she was assaulted by Combs, and Cassie Ventura told her she was over-exaggerating and milking it. Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks to Darla. Now we're joined by ABC News legal contributor Bernarda Villalona. You know, we were talking about that moment right there in court. You were in the courtroom today. How did that play with the jury?
So I think that was definitely a shocking part of today's testimony, because it's something that the jurors had not heard in opening statements. So for the first time ever during this trial, they were hearing that Sean Combs went to that apartment and was banging on that door with a hammer, trying to get into Cassie. Now, why is that so important? Because remember, you have that sex trafficking count by force, fraud, or coercion.
Yep.
Now, by Cassie saying, when she initially testified, that, look, when she was beaten, there was a freak-off happening inside of that hotel room, and that there was a male escort that was there. And that.
So could you imagine somebody at your door with a hammer beating on the door? What you gonna do with that hammer once you can't come inside? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That person had issues, y'all. Real talk. So scary. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video. Continue to double tap the screen, you guys. Continue to double tap the screen.
He was trying to drag her back in. Now, fast forward to 30 minutes later, he's trying to get Cassie to come back. This just goes to show you that you also have a neutral witness coming in to testify as to the extremes that Sean Combs would take to try to get Cassie to come back to him and participate in these freak-offs.
This was the 2016 hotel beating video that we've seen so often, so hard to watch. So it's interesting, too, because then you heard from the friend testify today. 2018 is when that friendship ended. That's also when the relationship between Sean Combs.
That was also toxic, too. Did y'all hear that he hit the friend with a wooden hanger? Baby, could you imagine your man, your boo, your husband, your boyfriend hitting your best friend? Y'all, could you imagine your boyfriend hitting your friend with a wooden hanger? I would not do this. I wouldn't deal with this. Like the video, like the video. What are you talking about? I will time you out. I ain't gonna read your messages. I ain't going there today. I'm not going there with nobody that's making weird comments today. Like the video, like the video. I would not want no man hitting any of my friends. Your husband, your boo, your bae. No, baby, you can't touch my friends now, and you can't extort my family for money. Toxic, so bad. Let's continue. Fair use.
And Cassie Ventura ended, right?
Yeah, so 2018 was a big year in terms for a lot of people, aside from Cassie, from Sean Combs, and also from the friend. I think I also remember that that's when finally that relationship came to an end between Cassie and Sean Combs, 2018.
So in court today, you heard from these three people
Good
close to Cassie
morning.
Ventura.
Good morning.
At least two people close to Cassie Ventura, and then a third who was only on the stand for about 5 minutes. This was the assistant from Sean.
Yeah, so Mr. James was called closer to almost the time that they had to break for.
Okay, they were about to talk about Diddy's assistant, Mr. James. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. Double tap the screen for me. Let's continue. Fair use.
The day. Now, Mr. James came in and testified and said that he was one of the personal assistants for Sean Combs for about 2 years. And in his testimony where he started, one of the biggest moments so far
Good
is
morning.
that he testified that he overheard a conversation.
Everyone say good morning to Paris. She's my only mod. That shows how special she is. Paris is one of my mods. She's been with me for the last 9 months. Everyone say good morning to Paris. Thanks for being here, Paris. Girl, my alarm woke me up today. Hey, who picked this time? Let's continue. Fair use. Good morning. Good morning. Let's continue.
Where Sean Combs was telling someone, or someone was asking him, well, how's Kim Porter? She's okay. Well, how's Cassie? She's okay. She's right where I want her. She's young and moldable.
See, there's a difference between Kim Porter and there's a difference between Cassie. Listen to what he said about them.
Overheard a conversation where Sean Combs was telling someone, or someone was asking him, well, how's Kim Porter? She's okay. Well, how's Cassie? She's okay. She's right where I want her. She's young and moldable.
See?
Now, that is crucial because, again, when we're talking about sex trafficking, that force, fraud, or coercion. So this is the mindset, the intent that Sean Combs had, that he was able to mold Cassie into who he wanted her to be and to do things that he wanted her to do.
Because over the hours of testimony we heard from Cassie Ventura last week, the defense was trying to paint this as a consensual relationship and violent, but consensual. But the prosecution is trying to hammer home that charge of sex trafficking, which a lot of legal experts said may be a challenge. Now you're starting to get into some of that.
Exactly. So one thing that we know that this case is going to be 6 to 8 weeks long. So not one witness is going to make out all the charges here. So the prosecution is putting that case together piece by piece by piece. So Cassie gave us the background into who Sean Combs was during that 10 to 11-year relationship. Now you have witnesses that are coming in to corroborate that testimony, because remember, when it comes to determining the credibility and believability of witnesses, is that you try.
Like I said, he is innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. I've said that for the last 8, 9, 10 months. A jury's going to have to decide any wrongdoing. But this woman was in a controlled situation. I now get it. Cassie's the one that's going to take this man down of how he treated her, disrespected her, and tried to mold her. He's in jail, not Cassie. The people that's testifying are not in jail. He's in jail for how he handled himself and his businesses. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
To find what corroboration exists. For example, photographs of the injury to corroborate that she was physically assaulted. Other witnesses testifying as to what they also observed, so you're not just banking on what Cassie actually tells you. But this personal assistant, I'm curious to see, because the prosecutor is still trying to put together this criminal enterprise and the people that were part of this enterprise, that Sean Combs is the leader of this enterprise.
We see the baby oil there.
Yes.
And the knife. So let's talk about these two pieces of evidence here, because when this indictment first happened, we heard so much about the baby oil.
Yes.
How did that play with the jury? And then also this knife. What was the story behind the knife?
So the story about the knife, this is something that came up last week, that in terms of, there was one instance that Cassie was scared to the point when she was.
He's not the only one that's going down. Hollywood will be exposed. Real talk. Some people moved out the country. Some people are MIA. Some celebrities are trying to change the narrative, but they might go down too. There's a lot that's happening in Hollywood, and they thought they can get away with a lot of it. They thought they can get away with it. Wendy Williams' situation don't look good. Why is she in a whole facility when she's talking normal? And nobody going to put a stop to that? Follow the money in regards to Wendy Williams. Who wanted her put in that place? Follow the money. When they get down to the nitty gritty, why won't they let Wendy out her conservatorship and let her go to another district and go to a different judge? Follow the money. They're trying to lock her in. Be careful who you're around. Be careful what situations you put in. If Wendy was married, she wouldn't even be in that situation. Real talk. This whole Diddy and Cassie situation is interesting, how right now they're focused on Cassie and what people saw regarding Diddy and Cassie. They haven't even gotten to his other girlfriends yet. Real talk. They're focused on Cassie and the relationship between Cassie and Diddy. They haven't even gotten to the other relationships. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
In her apartment, she actually put a knife by the door to kill two birds with one stone, right? So to protect herself, and also if, to keep whoever's trying to come in from coming in. So that's why that knife was there. But in terms of the baby oil, so finally we got more insight and we got photographs of the actual baby oil. But we know the baby oil was part of the freak-offs, not that the baby oil was laced with any type of drug. So that definitely rumor was cleared up. Yes, that rumor was.
Thanks for saying that, Mark. Welcome back. We missed you. I missed y'all too. But when they took my monetization away for them 3 months, I did my shorts, but I wasn't going to go live, baby. I was too busy making money other ways. But yeah, it was a Simone Biles video. I did 15-second video. And then it was last minute when I saw I could appeal it. It had already, that appeal had already gone away. I was so busy working for y'all, I didn't even realize. Because I think I had deleted the video. But then, yeah, they took my monetization away. YouTube is making a lot of money off me. Guess, Paris, guess how many views my page gets? Paris, guess how many views my page get? Baby, can anybody guess how many views my page gets? And that's why I need more people to subscribe too. YouTube making a lot of money off me. I'm going to let y'all guess in the comments. Girl, I want you to put out a number, baby. And I find that it's about 70% men. Men love my voice, girl. Guess how many? Millions, chick. Millions. 300,000? No, it's millions. YouTube is making a lot of money off me, baby. When they took that monetization away, they were making that money. I wasn't making it. So you ain't going to play me. I'll do other stuff. I'll come back. Millions. Because not a lot of people know what I do. There's about 5 know what I do. No, millions. They making money hand over fist on me. Real talk. I'm back, but they still making a lot. Millions. Craziness. Let me see. Do I have a picture of that? Hold on. I don't know if it's on this phone. I don't know if it's on this phone, but if I could show y'all the number within a 28-hour period. Dang. Millions. Y'all think I'm lying. I ain't lying. You see that, Paris? See, y'all need to subscribe more. That's why I be talking so much. That's why I be talking so much. You see that number, Paris? Yes, that's overall. My page be bringing y'all the TTT. My page, I should have 1 million subscribers. That's why I talk so much. That's why I talk so much. That's why I be telling y'all subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Yeah. 20 million, Paris. 20 million. 20 million. And then I think this week it hit 21 million. I think when I took that, yeah, I think it hit 21 million views. Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Let's continue. Hold on.
Cleared up. Look, the baby oil specifically was for the glistening effect supposedly Sean Combs liked for Cassie, as well as the male escort to be glistening and shimmering with baby oil.
Again, graphic
yeah, we
details
did that.
The jury's hearing. We expect also this case to get more in the weeds, if you will, because they're trying to prove this. What can we expect?
Thanks for subscribing.
Well, what's the
yeah, subscribe, you guys. Subscribe. This year I want to hit 1 million subscribers. Real talk. If people are tuning in that much, because see, I bring y'all the tea. I don't do trolls. I don't do the trolling stuff. I don't do the quick clickbait. I bring y'all the information. Oh, thank you, Paris. Thank you for being a member too. You're always supportive. Yes, Paris, I had to turn on all those icons again yesterday. I was like, why am I not seeing? And if you're not thinking about it and you're just talking and you're just bringing the tea, I didn't realize my super chat button wasn't there. My membership stuff, everything gets, when you demonetize, all that stuff gets wiped away. You have to re-enter all that stuff. And I should be making a Paris. If we could talk, baby, I'm not even gonna tell y'all how much the account has. Y'all think I'm a millionaire over here, baby. YouTube is playing in my face, but I'm trying to figure stuff out. Yesterday, I was almost in tears on stuff and can't get proper assistance, baby. Y'all probably think I'm a millionaire over here. YouTube is making money over on me, hand over fist. But I bring y'all the tea, so y'all should be surprised I'm still talking. My family was like, well, thank goodness you do other stuff. And that's why it's like I bring y'all the tea and then I do other stuff. Baby, if y'all could see my check, y'all be like, what? They're, if y'all, baby, I'm not playing. This stuff is, yeah. Well, see, Paris is what I did. I do have other pages now. I do have other pages. Um, and I'm working on rebuilding. But the biggest thing is, it don't matter. People are tuned into this page and they love this page. So what can I do? What can I do? When my friend, I asked my friend, I said, how many views do you think I got? Oh, about same as y'all. Oh, about 300, 400 million. When I told them it was 20 million, they was like, baby, they love hearing you talk. They were shocked. I sent them the picture. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what I do as far as friends and family. I don't tell them my business. I don't tell them a lot of stuff at all. My boo, my bae know, but yeah. And then he had even told me different topics to kind of cover. So maybe that's why some guys tune in too, because there's certain things that Deion Sander things is kind of crazy with the um Shador Sanders. I covered a little bit of that. Shador Sanders should have went within the top 5. He didn't go top 5. Do y'all know about the Shador Sanders stuff? That's so sad. He should have went within the top 5. They got the views they wanted. And then Shador Sanders had a number 2. He was hoping to be number 2. His jersey top sales was in the top 5 of the NFL. Do you know they changed his number from number 2 to 12? So now all these fans got this jersey of a number 2 and he's number 12 now. Baby, the NFL is something else. The NFL is something else. They play in people's faces. I'm telling you. The brother did sign a contract, and Shador Sanders signed a contract too. They got him on a 4-year contract. He should have did a 1-year contract for that money, or he should have did a 2-year contract with that money. I be watching a bunch of stuff for y'all, and it's just stuff I do, that I like or I listen to. But yeah, me and one of my friends was on the phone for hours talking about the draft. Y'all wouldn't even think they were trying to tell me what that meant, what the initials meant. Me and my friend was having a good old time for hours talking about the NFL draft. I was so tired the next day. Oh, but we had such a good time. It was a friend I hadn't talked to for a while. For hours talking about the draft. What does this mean? And what does that mean? And we haven't even talked yet about how they playing in Shador Sanders' face. He was number 44, and he was supposed to be within the top 5, y'all. So this Cassie Diddy stuff, I look at how toxic the relationship is, the control, why I cover it. This is going to help a lot of women. There's certain women that's out there, they're in a controlled situation. They're in a controlled situation, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, he's bad, but you're bad too. You know what I'm saying? So mothers, talk to your daughters. Sons, talk to your mothers. Check on your nieces. If you're in a bad situation, sometimes that man or woman, things will get worse. You have to get yourself out of a bad situation. That's why I cover it. I had people trying to play in my face when I was younger. Baby, girlfriend over here, let me tell you how smart she is. If I could tell a story, but I'll never do story time on that. So, but yeah, baby, let's continue. Fair use. So thank you, Paris, for the super chat. You're my first super chat coming back in. And thank you, Mark, for saying y'all missed me. I missed y'all too, but they weren't going to play in my face. They weren't going to play in my face. So yes, definitely subscribe. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Waiting on victim number 2. So victim number 2 is Jane. She's testifying under a pseudonym. So as you know from the indictment, there are 2 main victims, that being Cassie and victim number 2, and that's going to be Jane. So we have to get into.
Well, see, if I rebrand under a different name, the views are there. And check this out. There's a short I did in regards to who did I do it? I did a short on Matt Barnes. I did a short on Matt Barnes, Shannon Sharp, and that was a month ago. That video has almost 400 400 something views. And I don't even think since I got remonetized, I don't even think I'm getting money off that. And it's doing well. It continues to do well. Oh yeah, that was you joining. Thank you. Yeah, that's something. YouTube's something else, y'all. So I don't know if I'll look at other. I used to be on. Was it? I was. I was it. Was it? There was another app I was a part of, but it wasn't even doing well at all. But I kind of probably need to go back, going on other apps too. Yeah, YouTube making money, baby. You would think that I have like 500,000 in my account, baby. It's not that. YouTube is making a lot of money off me. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
To what happened with Jane, so she's charged on an indictment. So that's going to be a big moment. Jane, I'm sure, will be on the stand at least for 2 days to testify about what happened with her. We're also waiting to hear from Mia, who was an employee of Sean Combs, but also claims that she was
Thought about that too. And they make it really hard for you to even. There's like a contact us. Okay, put in your grievance and things like that. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And then, you look at other pages, it's like if you got 3,000 views, you make 37, dollars. I should have like 500K and, 500K in my account, basically. So it's something. It's something. And there is a part of RPMs, this and that, how much you make on shorts, how much you make on lives. It's interesting. It's interesting, but I'm hanging in there, y'all. I'm here for y'all, real talk. Because the money ain't money in. And that's why I hope towards the end of the year, I definitely hit 1 million subscribers. Because you figure if I'm already at 20, people be listening. And that's why I was always like, subscribe. Because I can see my numbers on my side. Y'all couldn't see them. And did y'all see how many views that was within a 48 7-day period? Did y'all see those numbers of what it was in the 7-day period? So people are not only watching, they're watching for days. That's within a 7-day period. Likes, the comments are commenting. 20 million, baby. It's all good though. It's all good. I'm here for y'all. Yeah, you go, girl. Thank you, Paris. See, I if you weren't here, I probably wouldn't have shared that. I probably would have just kept that in. If you weren't here, I probably would have never shared it. I would have kept it in. But I tell Paris everything, y'all. Let's go. Let's continue. Back to Diddy, Cassie. So Cassie was definitely in a toxic relationship. Very toxic. And like I said, he tried to extort her family for 20K. And then they gave that money back to the mama. So I hope they evaluate the bank account. Paris, that's what we talked about. Take a seat. Hold on, Paris. So, remember how I told y'all after Diddy got arrested, alleged his financial officer or financial people might have been investigated too. Remember how we talked about that, Paris? So, if the mama did send that 20K and then that money was sent back to her, I hope they can find that wire transfer. Because here it is, you're her producer and her boyfriend, but then you got people, that's why the mama on the stand, y'all. You got people wiring money to you so you don't put out a video of your girlfriend, the girl that's working with you. I hope they can show that wire transfer and the wire transfer being sent back to her. I hope they can show that. Diddy has made this stuff bad for himself, period. How he moved, how he did stuff. Did y'all hear about the assistant going in the car? They trying to find Suge Knight. They expected him to, be in a car, and they trying to find Suge Knight. He did a lot of stuff that was outside of business stuff. Think about it. You are her producer, you're her boyfriend, but then you got her sleeping around. You passing her off and you on the corner watching? What? And then you on this side, family man. What? Good morning. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
by Sean Combs. We're also waiting to see, mom is going to testify, Cassie's mom's going to testify, and supposedly additional escorts are going to come in and testify as to these free calls and how they cross state lines in order to try to get that sex trafficking.
Do you think Sean Combs will testify?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, look, when it comes to whether a defendant will testify, only the defendant can make that decision. That is the decision that the judge puts on the defendant, and will have a colloquy with him to ask him whether he wants to testify. That is his own decision. Only he can make it. It's not up to his attorneys. Personally, I wouldn't put Sean Combs to testify on the stand, because you got to think that the prosecutor has terabytes of text messages, of information on computers, of the video surveillance from when they executed the search warrant. So it's an open book.
Why are you so messy? You over here in real time typing a weird comment. This man put this woman through a lot, and other people. It just wasn't Cassie. This was a controlled environment. And like I said, he's innocent till proven guilty, but not a lot of people are telling great stuff about them. See, let me tell y'all something. People that get in the comments talking weird, they might be controlling in their relationship. Don't come over here. You're not going to control this live. You're not going to control how this girl speaks. I got some backbone. I got people that tell me, you right, don't play. We don't play over here. We getting this story out because this may help a mother, a daughter, or sister, or a niece. This was a controlling situation. He did this stuff, and people felt fear, and they had to do what he said, period. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
As to what he
Good morning. And when you're hello.
You can't raise your hand and try to tap out and say, attorney, stop the questioning. No, it's an open book. So no, it's a wild card.
And a long way to go, Bernardo. Thanks for your perspective.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. As we mentioned, testimony continues tomorrow in this case.
So that was from Channel 7 News. Okay, she been doing good in telling us stuff. Let's get to this clip. Fair use reaction clip. Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. There's about 503 in the building. Please subscribe. We are trying to hit 1 million subscribers this year. Real talk. We are trying to hit 1 million subscribers this year. Real talk. Because we deserve it. We deserve it. Y'all be in here in the comments, and I'll be paying attention. So thank you, Paris, for all your love and support.
Thinking, oh my goodness, but she was only on the stand for about 30 minutes, and the big takeaway is this:
he in jail for a reason. I agree, he in jail for a reason. They got stuff of what he been doing. There's people that's no longer here. We can't confirm or deny if he tied into that, but he has said to Dawn, keep your mouth closed. People go missing. What? Good morning, Minnesota. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, people were scared and fearful. So his assistant did quit after, see, some people have said the assistant worked for 6 months, 8 months, but then it's being reported correctly that he worked there almost 2 years. And then he had said, I'm done. He went to corporate saying, I'm done. Then they tried to have the assistant work in like the clothing part of it. He said, no, I don't want no parts of it. I'm done. The assistant quit. After the situation where they tried to have him get in a car and go take out Suge Knight, baby, allegedly, yes, he quit after that. I don't blame him. I signed up to be an assistant. And then the assistant would, he was so stressed out working long hours. Yeah, there was certain stuff that the assistant did that was kind of side-eyed, but he was open and honest about that. Drinking, taking something. And see, Diddy, let's get to this too. Diddy caught him on tape. And he said, was you intoxicated or high last night? He was like, yeah. He said, I'm going to keep this tape. Just in case if I need it for another time or day. Yeah, he was basically blackmailing blackmailing the assistant, allegedly. So Diddy would throw parties and then he would watch the video the next day. Yes. I don't think he's going to pardon him either. So did y'all know that guy that got arrested for being in the Trump Tower? Maybe that guy that was in the Trump Tower thought he might have been trying to find Diddy. Did y'all catch that, T? Remember how Odie went into one of Trump's towers, alleged Trump towers? He might have been thinking he was in there to try and get Diddy, alleged. Go back and listen, because they're saying that Odie was in one of the Trump towers or hotels or whatever. He might have been thinking in his mind he was going to find, allegedly. Diddy used to be getting hotels in some of the Trump towers or hanging out there or having dinner there. Yeah. So that's where that tie is. Because remember how we were trying to figure out why is Jonathan Odie talking about Diddy so much when he is, he's at the tower. That might have been the reason why he was there, because he was out of his mind, talking crazy. But his Jonathan Odie testimony to the police and that recording, he's talking about the experience he had, and he's talking about Hollywood. Did y'all catch that tea? Did y'all catch the tea of what Jonathan Odie has said about celebrities in Hollywood and who was sleeping around? Jonathan Odie spilt a lot of tea 2 or 3 years ago, and now we're hearing people get on the stand saying some of that same stuff. Baby, Jonathan Odie spoke out before a lot of people, and allegedly Jonathan Odie, I don't know if he's gonna take the stand. Jonathan Odie had a settlement too. Allegedly, there's some health concerns going on. There's some health concerns going on, and they're not letting the health concerns be told in the trial. Baby, why? Y'all was doing stuff without protection. Sick and gross. Let's continue.
She got from her daughter in December of 2011. This is where Cassie Ventura writes her mother and another person explaining or expressing that Sean Puffy Combs, she said, threatened to put out explicit videos of her. Again, this is around the holiday time, and also saying that he would do something.
Yeah, and did you catch? They said that Justin Bieber team said he wasn't a victim. And they were like, why speak out now? He said, I didn't want to take away he didn't want to take away what was going on with his arrest. He didn't want to take away what was going on with the arrest. Paris, do you remember when Justin Bieber was tapped by Diddy? Everybody was like, what was that about? That's what we want to know. Okay, you weren't a victim. Why was Diddy tapping you like here? Diddy started getting fearful towards the last 2 years, it seems like, when he maybe thought that they were looking at him and maybe investigating him. Cassie's lawsuit brought a lot, and Little Rod lawsuit brought a lot. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
The person that she was dating at the time in the email.
Good morning, Washington State.
Kid Cudi. So this is when the mother is talking to the jurors, talking to the court, and saying that this was the first time the mom said she realized that her daughter had any issues with possible physical abuse. And in this case, her daughter saying that Sean Combs was going to put these explicit videos out. So her mother said that Sean Combs said that he wanted $20,000 because of money that he spent on Ventura. So the mother and her husband took out a $20,000 home equity loan, transferred that money into a checking account, and then sent it to Combs. What's so interesting about this story is that even though they sent that $20,000 and she said she was in fear of her daughter, she was concerned for her safety, that money came back to the Ventura family. They didn't get into detail about that other than to say that within 4 to 5 days, that money came back to their account.
And did they explain what would have happened or what they believed would have happened had they not wired Sean that money?
The prosecution, I believe, was trying to show that level of control that they talked about at the very beginning of this case. And then to see that her family talks about being intimidated and fearing for Cassie's safety. And that's why they sent the money, they said, because they were really concerned.
There was so much control. She went back to Diddy after the wire transfer. And then the money went back into the mom account. She shouldn't have ever fooled with him again, but she kept going back. She was asked to keep coming back. Yeah.
So learned that the mother's the one who said, you know what, I want to take pictures of this abuse. Again, the mom said she did not know about that or that was happening until 2011. So Cassandra Ventura comes home for a holiday break.
Yeah, that's extortion. So remember how we talked about it 9 months ago, Paris, how they need to investigate his money. Remember we talked about that. And a lot of people didn't catch that somebody did a video. Somebody did a video in regards to alleged financial advisor possibly got raided. Alleged. A lot of people didn't catch that video. And alleged the Popos was outside their building. So let's see if the financial advisor has to take the stand, baby. So it might be coming to fruition, Paris, of what we talked about 9 months ago. So if that did happen, I'm wondering if they can find that wire transfer. That's something we talked about 9 months ago. Yeah, like we said, follow the money. Follow the money, baby. Let's continue.
These bruises and says in court today, I felt like I needed to memorialize it. When it came to the explicit videos, the prosecution asked her, what was your reaction to hearing that your daughter said she was concerned about those explicit videos? When it came to this idea that Cassie was saying, you know, Mom, Sean Combs is threatening to put out explicit videos of me. She said her reaction to that was she was physically sick and that she said, quote, the sex tapes threw me.
The other witness today, Sheree Hayes. What did he say about his participation in the freak-offs?
So Sheree Hayes says that he met the couple in 2012. He talks about meeting them first at the Trump Tower in Central Park and that they would often meet at the Essex House here in New York as well. He said that they met about 8 to 12 times and really believed, according to him, that he was the only one that they were doing this with. He said today that he didn't have an idea that this was something that they were doing regularly with other.
Okay, so right now, let me rewind that back. They're right now talking about the FOs and the meetup. So the FO, people thought that it was just Cassie Diddy. They didn't realize that there was other people that they were doing FOs with. Let's go back.
Physically sick, and that she said, quote, the sex tapes threw me.
The other witness today, Sheree Hayes. What did he say about his participation in the freak-offs?
So Sheree Hayes says that he met the couple in 2012. He talks about meeting them first at the Trump Tower in Central Park, and that they would often meet at the Essex House here in New York as well.
Didn't I just tell y'all? The Trump Tower. We just talked about that, y'all. Trump Tower. She just said it. So that's why Jonathan Odie might have been acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because there were meetups at the Trump Tower. We just said that. Let's continue. Fair use.
Put out explicit videos of me. She said her reaction to that was she was physically sick, and that she said, quote, the sex tapes threw me.
The other witness today, Sheree Hayes. What
Sheree
did he say
Hayes.
about his participation in the freak-offs?
So Sheree Hayes says that he met the couple in 2012. He talks about meeting them first at the Trump Tower in Central Park, and that they would often meet at the Essex House here in New York as well. They said he said that they met about 8 to 12 times, and really believed, according to him, that he was the only one that they were doing this with. He said today that he didn't have an idea that this was something that they were doing regularly with other escorts.
That could be it. For me to return the money to your family, you got to come back. That could be it too. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. That might have been it. Yep, you're going to have to come back. I'll get the money back to your mama and your daddy. You got to come back. I'm telling you, it's a control of all controls. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
The first time that they met, he talked about getting $800, and then I believe an additional $1,200. There was one moment he discussed where Sean Combs, according to him, threw money on the bed and condoms and said, get to it. I think so much of what came out of that civil lawsuit and these freak-offs, and this idea that, again, Cassie Ventura saying she was forced into these situations and that she really didn't want to partake in them, even in her closing statement Friday saying, I would give the $20 million back if it meant I never had to take part in a freak-off. This is how she ended her testimony. So it is a big part of the case in reference to this notion that she was forced into it. And remember, the criminal enterprise and the racketeering, according to that indictment, is about him using force and threats and arson and all of these things they said for his sexual desires. So that's why I think a lot of what we're hearing are these details from escorts, from people who not just people that were taking part in that, but also.
And did y'all notice the allowance that he was giving Young Miami? He wasn't giving Cassie allowance, because if Cassie was paid or rich, she could have gave the $20 million back to her family. So y'all notice the difference how he treated Young Miami, he treated Cassie? Total difference. Young Miami was getting a bag. Young Miami was getting a bag. And then remember how he tried to reduce Young Miami's money, and then Young Miami's like, I'm out of here. He was allegedly paying Young Miami $500K. 500. And then I think he wanted to reduce it to 2 or 3. And Young Miami was like, nah. And then he had to go back to pay her alleged. Check that story. Yeah. He treated most women really different than he treated Cassie. But see, Cassie, the one allegedly that's taking him down. He in jail. And people are testifying what they saw in the time between him and Cassie's relationship. So I'm wondering if other girlfriends are going to speak up. I'm wondering if Young Miami's going to have to speak up. She's going to have to take the stand, or Young Miami won't. And if all his bodyguards are going to have to take the stand. Hello? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Subscribe, you guys. There's about 686 in the building. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million by this year. Yes, thank you. Subscribe and turn on your notification.
We've now learned from people who talk about seeing the physical abuse, not just this idea that Cassie Ventura was there and was having sex with these male escorts, but the physical abuse as well is something that we've heard some of these escorts testify to. A former personal assistant of Sean Combs from 2007 to 2009 wrapped up his testimony today, and part of what he described is seeing pills that Sean Combs had of the former President Barack Obama on them, that his face was on the pill, according to this former assistant. We have not heard former President Barack Obama's name brought up in any other context than just him saying that it was a pill with his face somehow, on it. But I think that the personal assistant also described some interesting details. Again, not exactly sure how they fit into the big picture of the racketeering, but he did talk about the things that he was supposed to do to advance the hotel rooms.
Good morning.
Because of these freak-offs, the personal assistant, sometimes he said he had to get supplies for the hotel. He said often the hotel would be under Sean Combs' alias, Frank Black, and that he had to provide underwear, clothing, applesauce, Jell-O, Fiji water. These were things that were expected to be in the room that Combs was used to having, that his personal assistant said he would provide. Also interesting to note, he said early on he would expense some of those things, the Jell-O and the Fiji water and things, on the bad boy account. But he said when it came to the Astroglide, the condoms, and things of that nature, he would get reimbursed in cash. Interesting.
So follow the money. He did not want that stuff to be on the business account. And when he did do it on the business account, thank goodness he did, follow the money. When he did accidentally do it on the business account, they got mad at him and said, don't ever do it again. Follow the money. Let's continue. Good morning. Good morning. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys, and turn on your notification. Continue to hit the like button. If you're watching from a phone, double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's get the likes to 200. There's about 510 people in the building. Get the likes to 200. And can I please get 500 people to please subscribe? We're trying to hit 1 million by the end of the year.
As if there was no record of those types of things. And more specifically, I think what's going to be difficult in some ways for the jurors is to keep all
revenge
of
is
this
best served
information, all of
cold.
these different dates and times in order. For the first time, I think the prosecution may have been trying to make an argument for the kidnapping, because in 2009, Cassie Ventura testified that she was in a fight with Combs, that he stomped her face, and it was so bad that she had to stay at the London Hotel in California for a little more than a week. This personal assistant talks about having to deliver Roscoe's chicken per Combs to Cassandra Ventura. But what he said was interesting is that when he went to the hotel room, it wasn't Cassie Ventura, it wasn't Cassandra Ventura that answered the door. It was an executive from Combs' team. So this is, again, this idea that Cassie said she could not leave the hotel. This is the first time I think I'm hearing someone sort of corroborate this story that could be related to the kidnapping, which is part of the bigger criminal enterprise racketeering charge that Combs is facing. Even the judge has made mention of not wanting this to be a case sort of built on gossip, but really making sure that these jurors are hearing the meat and potatoes of what we're here for. And that's the criminal enterprise, racketeering, sex trafficking, and making sure that we're hearing information that somehow leads to all of those things. Now, I would imagine that at the end, in the closing statements, they're going to sort of tie all of this up, but jurors are being inundated with a lot of information about personal matters, but also some of those more specific issues of kidnapping, forced labor, obstruction of justice. The personal assistant today testified that there was a 21-day stretch that he worked with no break. Could that be forced labor? He also talked about an employee. He said he remembers being hospitalized because of dehydration for working 24 hours straight. Could that be forced labor? He talks about how Combs instructed him to file a false police report. Could that be obstruction of justice? So all of these things were...
Okay, so let's talk about the police report. Generally, I know what they're talking about. It's being alleged that there was one of the chefs that alleged the assistant grabbed the chef's arm. Okay? The assistant grabbed the chef's arm, and then Diddy came to him and said, "Did you apologize? We can't go around grabbing women." What? Diddy scolded the assistant because allegedly the assistant told the chef, "Mind your business, stay in your lane." So then they had said, "Okay, assistant, Diddy told you to apologize. What did you do?" The assistant allegedly gave the chef a blunt and some papers. And she actually, I guess she forgave him. So Diddy allegedly also, I don't know if it's the same chef, take it with a grain of salt, or a different chef. Remember, the assistant grabbed the chef's arm. It's being alleged that Diddy did something with one of the chefs. And allegedly there's a lawsuit out there, and Diddy allegedly settled with one of the chefs. So it's being reported that he also had a situation with one of the chefs. So there's a lot that's going on. And this is the biggest thing. He settled other court cases. He settled with alleged Audie, and he has settled with one of the chefs. So I think there's 2 different chefs. So if you guys hear the story, be careful what chef y'all hearing about. And then when there was a situation with one of the chefs, I don't know if it's the same chef in regards to the assistant, but Diddy asked him, the assistant, to go make a false police report about a chef. So that way, if she ever got out of line, a police report was filed. So Diddy wanted people to file a falsified police report, but the assistant never did it. Thank goodness. The assistant said he didn't feel comfortable putting out a false report on the chef. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to watch the different plays of what Diddy does, what he asks people to do, because you're a boss, you're a producer. Why are you doing so much in regards to how you're running your businesses? He was too busy doing other stuff than producing. That's why some of these people ain't famous, because he doing other stuff. Let's continue. Fair use. Let's go back. So he did ask the assistant to make a false report, but the assistant never did it. Thank goodness.
Labor, obstruction of justice. The personal assistant today testified that there was a 21-day stretch that he worked with no break. Could that be forced labor? He also talked about an employee. He said he remembers being hospitalized because of dehydration for working 24 hours straight. Could that be forced labor? He talks about how Combs instructed him to file a false police report. Could that be obstruction of justice? So all of these things we're sort of waiting to see what happens. But when it came to Regina Ventura's testimony, when it was time for the defense to question her, they said, "We have no questions." Could be strategic, but I think when you look at the amount...
Okay, they did not cross-examine Cassie's mom. I think that was smart. Because she probably would have said, you messed my daughter up. It was a controlling situation. And anytime she tried to escape your grips, she would have to come back, which is sad. And he would probably dangle different things in Cassie's face. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Time that she was up there with the prosecution, she really didn't have that much more to offer. And I don't think the defense gained anything necessarily by questioning her or trying to question her credibility, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that
was the first time. Again, it may have happened before because we're now at 9 or.
Yeah, I heard he went to court too. Did you see he had a free Diddy shirt? Did y'all catch my video where it's being reported that there's people that's being paid $20 to wear a free Diddy shirt? We don't know who's paying them. Go check out my short because a lady said there's something about a coin that you can get, and then there was a lady that was paid $60 to wear the free Diddy shirt. A lot's going on, y'all. There's going to be a lot of distractions in court. During court, outside. Some stuff happened last Friday outside of court. Yeah, 50 Cent wore the free Diddy shirt. He be trolling. Diddy is such a troll. Not Diddy. 50 Cent is such a troll, baby. He's such a troll.
And witnesses. But again, the defense, when it was their turn to question Regina Ventura, said they had no questions for her.
Do we know if Cassie has had her child yet?
According to Doug Wigdor, I saw her attorney this morning in the cafeteria, and I asked her, we all want to know, did she have the child yet? Did she have the baby boy? And he said, we're getting close, but no, she is still pregnant. Now, things could change by the time 7:30 rolls around, but as of now, we're hearing that she is still very much expecting any day now.
So Cassie on the stand, pregnant with somebody else's baby. She got a whole husband, and she on the stand, and she hasn't had the baby since since yesterday. So she can go in labor anytime. Could you imagine being pregnant, taking the stand, talk about your ex? I couldn't do it, baby. I couldn't do it.
I just got
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. There's about 474 in the building. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Please like the video. Keep double tapping the screen, you guys. I know you're watching from a phone or tablet. Most of my analytics show that you're watching from a phone or tablet. So please hit the like button. Double tap the screen, please. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. She one of my favorite. This is coming from News Nation about 6 hours ago. So let's go to it. Fair use reaction clip. 50 cents.
big, but today was punishing.
Yep, he wore that shirt.
Because a guy took the stand called the Punisher. And the Punisher was one of the escorts.
Okay, so Gene Deal showed up to court too, y'all. Y'all catch that? Go watch his video. Go watch Gene Deal's video. Another one of a YouTuber I listened to, he showed up in New York yesterday. So I'm going to hear what he has to say. Yes. One of my other YouTubers I listened to, he showed up and he going to be at the trial. So that's going to be interesting because him and Gene Deal go back and forth about stuff. So I'm general about mentioning certain YouTubers, but go watch Gene Deal video, what he had to say, y'all.
That Diddy and Cassie allegedly had coming in to do those free costs, and not just one, like 8 to 12 of them or so. And he's got some stories to tell, but does he have stories that corroborate any crimes that so far the prosecutors feel like they've elicited on the witness stand? Wait until you hear not only his testimony, but his interview, because he is live on the show tonight. Yes, I said it. The Punisher is live with me in just a moment, so do not go anywhere. Should be fascinating. Also, another moment of breaking news just in the last couple hours. Another inmate picked off in New Orleans, and then there were 5 from the original 10. 10 made it out, 5 back in. What about the other 5? And guess what? That was not the only arrest today. Well, this guy already knows what it's like to be locked up. The other arrest today is a guy who could come and go freely from that jail. The maintenance worker who police say helped these 10 escape. But wait until you hear the maintenance worker's story. Why he shut off the water to the plumbing so that they could rip out the plumbing and make this amazing escape. I watch this on repeat. I literally watch this on a wheel because I can't get over the fact that nobody in the building just happened to notice this on the surveillance video that should be playing at all times in front of live eyes. But I digress. So we're going to talk about not only the 10 escape charges this maintenance worker is now facing, but also Larry Levine is with me tonight. He's a former federal inmate. He spent over a decade locked up, and he's going to tell me how easy or hard it is to get someone on the inside to help you bust out, whether it's by coercion, whether it's by love. All that coming up in a moment too. And then do you remember the Michigan mother who was arrested after police say she left her 3 kids, 7, 8, and 10, alone for 5 years, literally abandoned in a row house in filth and squalor with no plumbing, with not even soap or shampoo, with toenails so long they couldn't walk? We learned something else about this lady today. First of all, she's going to trial. That's a no-brainer. But we learned what was in the phone of her child, the oldest child. Listed as a contact for this mother was Mother of the Year. These scripts write themselves. Mother of the Year. Guess what her contacts were, allegedly, for her 3 kids? My oldest, kid 1, and kid 2. And that's not all. There's another fact that'll blow your mind, given the fact that she's apparently allegedly dropped DoorDash to keep them alive. There was something else that happened very nearby that was just jaw-dropping. I'll get to all of that in a minute, but let me start here. The list of last things any parent wants to hear is pretty long. And if you dwell on it,
Wait.
involve his employees, and his
Okay.
corporation, Bad Boy,
There we
in
go.
his alleged illegal activities, what the feds call predicate acts, the definition of racketeering. Next up on the stand, after Cassie's mom stepped down, a man who goes by the name, wait for it, The Punisher. The Punisher is an exotic dancer, a former sex worker whose real name is Sheree Hayes. Mr. Hayes told the jury that he got his nickname playing basketball, but his photos, they seem to tell a different story for why he may be using that name today. Kind of safe for work, almost not safe for work. I wouldn't put it up at work, but that's the Punisher, y'all. Mr. Punisher testified that he was hired by Diddy and Cassie for 8 to 12 different times, things like episodes, and he was meant to create a sexy scene that would last for hours. He said that Diddy called all the shots in these episodes. He didn't call them freak-offs, but he described what we've heard as freak-offs. He never saw any cameras. He said he didn't see any violence, and he said although Cassie would sometimes wince or sigh at some of the sex directions that came from Diddy, he said it didn't seem as though Cassie was there against her will. Again, this is a prosecution witness, so that's kind of, that's on the fence there. He does certainly corroborate the freak-offs and what happened in the freak-offs, but that whole business about, to him, he wasn't sure if Cassie was into it or not, but he did hear that she winced and that she sighed as Diddy gave a lot of those directions.
Like the video. Yeah, Diddy was controlling in regards to the FOs, and he wanted to control the scene, and sometimes he would be, his eyes and mouth, well, his mouth would be covered. So sometimes these people didn't know who Diddy was. They didn't even know who Cassie was until she unveiled her face. So concerning. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. There's about 621 in the building. If I please get 600 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification. Thank you for subscribing.
By the way, the Punisher also said that he never saw Diddy take drugs, never saw that he seemed drunk or high, which is exactly what prosecutors are trying to show. That this was not just an out-of-control, party of an enlisted megastar, but instead was a clear-eyed criminal enterprise. And I mentioned it off the top of the show, so I'm happy now to introduce the man who spent the better part of today on the witness stand. Sheree, the Punisher Hayes, joins me now live. Mr. Hayes, it's really good of you to be here. Thank you so much for doing this. I can imagine you've had a hell of a day.
Definitely a challenging day today.
So tell me a little bit about it. Like, how was it? How'd you feel up there? Like, give me a summary of the, a description of what that day was like for you.
Well, it's very nerve-wracking. There's nothing you can do to really prepare yourself for that type of environment. Very tense scenario, very serious atmosphere, and I just kept a mind frame of from the time I've been contacted by investigators, it's just give my version of the truth, what I can remember to the best of my ability, and that's what I.
Okay, so right now she's interviewing one of the FOs, the guy that participated. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Tried to do it today.
Yes, let's hit the like button, y'all.
So I know that you talked about this on the stand, but I want to just sort of flesh it out with you a little, because we get court sketches. There's no cameras in court, so it's really good to have you in person. When you say that it was clear that Diddy was directing the sex scenes and the sex acts, because as you described, it started off as just a sexy scene, but it progressed into actual sex over the course of the What kind of direction did you get the sense? Like aggressive, mean, demanding, or just, hey, this is kinky, let's do this?
Not even, as I described in the text, they were very subtle. Mr. Combs was always basically across the room, and it would be in a low tone, and it would just be suggestive. It was anything, nothing aggressive, nothing that would create some sort of scenario that this was like unnatural between them. Obviously, a sexual scenario with a couple is not the norm, but it's something that I had heard about before, and there's some couples that get into this, and in hindsight, if there were no accusations, I would have saw it as.
See, a lot of celebrities were swinging back then, y'all. Remember? A lot of celebrities were swingers back then and may still be. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Be natural.
Can you repeat that? You would have seen it as what?
If there was no accusations, like in hindsight, all this stuff's in hindsight. Like in the moment, I didn't see it as anything but a couple doing something risque, and Cassie as a partner trying to create a fantasy for who I believe was her husband, and for the majority of this.
See? He thought that was the husband. It wasn't. So she's only alleged your wife when she doing what you want her to do. But outside of that, the control of it all, and having other people, having him on the sideline watching, and then when you're done, then they go into the room. So he had her thinking, for me to get time with you, I got to do X, Y, Z. It's a sad, sick situation. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I think you mentioned, and I was just reading transcript because, of course, there's no cameras. You mentioned that Sean Combs was slightly aggressive in his tone, and that Cassie would sigh or wince at some of his direction. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I understand that you're getting it in parts. It was quite a long testimony. When the sighing and the wincing was associated with, some of the direction was very specific, and it could be one after the other in terms of move the camera to the left, move it a little more, and now move your body a little more, stuff like that. And it was kind of unnatural for a scenario where you're trying to create a sexual situation. So my understanding or my interpretation of it in the moment was frustration with the repeated directions.
So it felt to you when you were there like it was frustration, but it did not feel to you when you were there like she did not want to be in the situation she was in with you.
It did not.
The other question I have for you is, I think I read that this began in was it right, 2012, that the first time you were hired?
That's correct.
So that would seem fairly early on, perhaps in the free cops in their relationship. And it felt to me like in the beginning, you did not actually have any kind of sex with Cassie in front of Diddy in those hotel rooms. It was just performative, but that it graduated in the later free cops to sexual acts. Did it seem to you, now that you're hearing a lot more of the story, that this was the beginning of the whole free cop adventure for them, that they were kind of figuring it out themselves as well, and that maybe it progressed a lot further and got a lot less appealing to Cassie, maybe later after you had moved on and weren't in the picture?
So I'm instructed to not necessarily follow any of the details, so I just really know what my interaction with it was, and it was always like almost a start over scenario, because like I said in my testimony, it wasn't consistent. Like I would get called maybe once every 4 months, so long periods of time would go in.
He would get called once every 4 months. Sick, gruesome, gross situation. Real talk. Trigger warning for some people. Sorry. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
So it would definitely be kind of like an odd situation, but not in a way where I can assess. There was some sort of...
Exactly, Paris. It was almost like he was directing XYZ, not wanting to maybe watch tapes, but wanting to experience, because they said he was off on the corner touching self. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Progression that went on from the time we started to the time we ended. It was pretty consistent all the way through.
Well, may I commend you in following the orders of the court and not having consumed a lot of information about this before your testimony, because that would have been an easy question for you to answer had you known all the background, right, that we're all learning in court. So congratulations and good for you. You're a model witness, and I appreciate you doing that. That's true justice. I do want to press a little bit on this aspect of from the first free cough until the last free cough that you did. Did you sense that they were getting more practiced at it, and that it was a lot more sexual right away? First it was performative and just a show, and then it became actual sex towards the end.
If you're just now coming in, this is one of the guys that did the FO with Cassie and Diddy. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Was there anything different between episode 1 and say episode, maybe maximum 12? That seems to be the max number that you performed with them. Did 12 seem a lot more, like it was a machine that was ready to go?
Actually, the opposite. It was very routine, like a very consistent routine. It always started the same, some sort of a scenario where we would be across from each other on couches that were covered with sheets. It always had to start with a baby oil, with me rubbing it on myself, her doing the same, escalating to us rubbing each other, and then escalating into small sex acts, leading into actual penetration. It's very methodical and pretty much the same. I can't say there was a different energy from start to finish. It pretty much stayed the course of whatever the criteria was from the first time going forward. And the first time was actually the only time there was an actual sexual interaction, and it was offered, as I said in my testimony, but I declined.
So one of the other escorts who had done some of the same things in these free cops that you were hired for said that at one point Sean Combs was very violent with Cassie, and that he took her in the other room, and that he heard slapping and beating, and that when they came out, Diddy wanted them to continue and finish strong. That was his words, apparently, allegedly, finish strong. But that the male escort couldn't. He said, I had erectile dysfunction at that point because of what I'd gone through. And I know, you wrote a whole book called In Search of Freezer Meat about erectile dysfunction and how difficult it...
Did y'all hear his title? Let's go back. Did y'all hear his title? Y'all hear the title?
Can be. And I think you might have mentioned that it actually happened
across from each other on couches that were covered with sheets. It always had to start with a baby oil, with me rubbing it on myself, her doing the same, escalating to us rubbing each other, and then escalating into small sex acts, leading into actual penetration. It's very methodical and pretty much the same. I can't say there was a different energy from start to finish. It pretty much stayed the course of whatever the criteria was from the first time going forward. And the first time was actually the only time there was an actual sexual interaction, and it was offered, as I said in my testimony, but I declined.
So one of the other escorts who had done some of the same things in these free cops that you were hired for said that at one point Sean Combs was very violent with Cassie, and that he took her in the other room, and that he heard slapping and beating, and that when they came out, Diddy wanted them to continue and finish strong. That was his words, apparently, allegedly, finish strong. But that the male escort couldn't. He said, I had erectile dysfunction at that point because of what I'd gone through. And I know, you wrote a whole book called In Search of Freezer Meat about erectile dysfunction and how difficult it can be. And I think you might have mentioned that it actually happened to you during one of your free cops with Diddy and Cassie, that you had the same kind of issue. Was it at all based on violence or aggression?
No, it was not. It was not based on violence and aggression. I think for me, there was no true, at times, for me, I could not get into a place of intimate connection. There was always a discomfort with obviously a male partner just being present, period. And then, like I said, with the direction, the move to the left, the move to the right, to do this, to do that, in terms of me making.
Yeah, he was always directing, do this, do that, move to the left, move to the right, more baby oil, more baby oil. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like. There's about 510 in the building. If you could please subscribe and turn on your notification. If you're already subscribed, thank you. Continue, double tap the screen to hit the like. Please continue to double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's continue fair use. If you guys did not know, just a general update, it is being reported that Kid Cudi is supposed to take the stand. It is reported that Kid Cudi is allegedly supposed to take the stand. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Like in a erotic space of being turned on or whatever, it was difficult. So it was just more of, it felt like acting opposed to an actual natural sexual scenario.
ZipRecruiter delivers candidates.
Oh, wait a minute. Breaking news. Wait a minute. Did Chris Brown, it's being reported, y'all. Chris Brown reported released on bail. Thank goodness. People have been saying release Chris Brown. He's been reportedly released on bail. Thank goodness. Chris Brown released on bail following the attack. Because remember, he's on tour. So people are like, what's going to happen with my tickets? What's going to happen? Thank goodness it's being reported Chris Brown's been released on bail, y'all. I saw a video. I'm sorry I distract away from stuff, but I'm watching stuff just to kind of update y'all. It's being reported that his either his bodyguard or assistant was bringing him food and maybe some chicken and outfits. So that's good. He's released on bail, y'all. And this is the biggest thing. Why was he in the UK anyway? If you know you had a situation in a city or state and you know that they saying you did something, why was he in the UK? I got to look that up. I don't know everything, y'all. I don't know everything. But yeah, he's been released, y'all. Chris Brown is on bail. He's been released. Thank goodness. I know a lot of people are happy. There's another thing I had to tell y'all. We're going to generally talk about the Tory Lanez situation. Allegedly, there's a Congress that's trying to help Tory Lanez get out of jail. And guess who talked with the Congress? It's being alleged Amber Rose contacted the Congress. Baby, Amber Rose contacted the Congress. The Congress said in 36 hours, there's going to be more information released on Tory Lanez. So there's Congresses that's trying to get the attention of the mayor and governor of that state to try and get Tory Lanez released. Baby, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, y'all. And I saw it and I was going to post it and I was like, wait a minute. There's more information that's going to be released in 36 hours. That was yesterday. So there's Congress that's trying to step in, trying to get Tory Lanez released, y'all. And Chris Brown's been released for now. He does. I'm sure he has. They mentioned that Chris Brown has a court date for June. So I'm sure he still has to appear at his court date. But let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Hold on.
And she introduced herself as Janet and said this was her birthday and this was something special her and her husband was doing. So the majority of the time, actually the entire time, even when I found out who they were initially, I really believed that was the only guy they were involved with. I thought this was something.
Had you ever heard of an escort named Jules?
Oh, I'm not. I'm not in the male escort business. I'm actually a stripper that took a proposition, but it's not somebody I would commingle with in terms of interactions.
And then last quick question, sir. Did the feds offer you immunity at all at any step of the way as they were, prepping you to be a witness for this trial?
Let's see.
No, there was no talk of immunity of anything from what I understood.
So some people are not getting immunity. I'm wondering if people were deeply involved, if they're going to get immunity or if they're going to have to sign a proffer agreement. We talked about that yesterday and the day before. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Happy for Chris. Me too.
Where there was any issue I would need immunity in regards to this matter.
Sheree Hayes, I can't thank you enough for being so forthcoming and candid and agreeing to talk to me on this program tonight. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate you walking into federal court and getting up on a witness stand and talking about stuff that's pretty uncomfortable. The justice system relies on witnesses being fair and truthful and doing what you did.
They're probably going to flag. I'm not going to show y'all. Whenever I show y'all stuff outside of what's on here, they try and flag it and they give me less money. So I want to show y'all. It's basically being reported. That's another thing. That's crazy. I should be able to show y'all trending topics and I get flagged and they give me less money and it turns yellow versus it staying green. So remember back in the day, I would show y'all stuff and I'd be like, this is what's going on in the news, y'all. They would give me less money when I show y'all different stuff other than what's on the screen. So it's being reported that Chris Brown has been released from the UK jail with a $6.7 million bail. $6.7 million bail. If I showed y'all the picture, they're going to flag me and they're going to give me less money on this video. So I can't show y'all stuff as much as I used to. They might flag me. Paris, just when I showed y'all how many views I got, they might flag me on that. Yes. I might get a yellow signal versus getting a green full. Yes. Yeah. So Chris Brown's been released. So I'm telling y'all stuff what's going on. I love showing y'all stuff, but yeah, certain stuff I've learned I can't do. Let's continue fair use.
No matter how hard it is, and it is real hard. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, my pleasure. I appreciate you having me, and thank you so much.
Can I ask you one quick question? Do you think Sean Combs is guilty of sex trafficking and the crimes?
Okay, so this is trending too. This morning I saw a video. I'm not certain if I'm gonna post it. It's this morning. There's a video that's trending. It may for some, but I've seen it. Kourtney Kardashian recalls being punched at a Diddy party. So remember how Khloe was like, "Oh yeah," I think Khloe had a show or something. "Oh yeah, I've been to the Diddy parties." I'm wondering if any of the K's and J's is gonna have to testify. I'm wondering if any of the K's and J's is gonna have to testify. But yeah, Kourtney said she was punched at one of them. Now I don't know if it's her team that's talking about that or somebody reposted a resurfaced video. So this is the second time I'm hearing about the Kourtney getting hit. Yeah, 6.7 million. He had to pay 6.7 million for bail. That is ridiculous. Let's continue fair use. We're just doing trending topics right now, y'all, of what's going on while we listen to the court stuff.
He's actually accused of and racketeering.
I mean, again, like I said, I really, this has been a high place of anxiety for me. So it wasn't just being a good witness and follow directions. I really avoid the details. I think the totality of the situation for everybody involved is just extremely sad and difficult, and just a black eye experience on everybody involved. And I just think it's unfortunate. I don't have the legal understanding to levy the evidence and come to a determination of what I think or don't think. I just think it's an unfortunate situation for everyone.
Well, I am super appreciative. Thank you again, Sherry Hayes.
Anytime. Have a good day.
Right now, what's the distraction? If y'all did not know, it's being reported that Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos might be getting married soon. So right now, the K's and the J's has gotten them hooks into Lauren Sanchez. For every picture, and I posted that. Kim's going to want to show Lauren maybe one time, and Kim's going to want to show herself 3 or 4 times. So it's being reported. It looks like Lauren Sanchez may be marrying Jeff Bezos soon. And they're friends with the K's and the J's. The K's and J's like to be around famous and rich people. Yep. So congratulations to Lauren Sanchez, but she should not be around because they're going to try and suck the life out of her event. But you know what? If celebrities don't care, why should we? If celebrities don't realize what's being talked about in regards to several people, I wouldn't want the K's and the J's around. Kim and Kanye stuff, you know what I'm saying? What Kanye has to say, he wish he never had kids. Y'all, I saw a video when Wendy Williams said Kim was trailing after Kanye when she was pregnant. It was almost like Kanye didn't want Kim. He was in another country and Kim was flying back and forth trying to meet up with Kanye. So maybe that is true that Kanye didn't want to have kids. He liked her, but you still married her. And then you kept saying, oh, she's this and she's that. But in the beginning, Kim went after her, definitely. Kim went after Kanye. Wendy Williams was talking about it. Baby, Wendy was talking about it. I almost did a video of it. So Lauren better watch out because they trying to utilize her for clicks and views. And that's the other thing, Paris. Why is Kim's trial around the same time Diddy's trial is? Her situation, her jewelry getting stolen, that was so long ago. Why is the trial happening now? And did y'all see that Kim was like flossing more jewelry? Did y'all notice that? She was wearing she was wearing very expensive jewelry with the trial that she got held up at. And that's the other thing. Yeah, distractions. Okay. So that's the other thing. Why is it that her trial was around the same time as Diddy trial? And who is watching Kim and Kanye's kids if Kim is out and about having a good old time with Lauren Sanchez? Who's watching the children? Kanye somewhere. I posted a video, Kanye, but who's watching the kids? And North going around looking so grown right now. Yeah. North going around looking so grown. So grown. North is 10 or 11. There's a difference. There's another video I saw this morning in regards to the difference between Blue Ivy and North. They say Blue Ivy is very personable, waving the fan. She's really kind. They say North is kind of rude to people. They say North is really rude to people. She's rude. She acts like she has no interest. They say North personality is definitely different than Blue Ivy, but that's children. But yeah, Kim is something else, y'all. Yeah, Kim's going to court in regards to what happened to her in regards to them stealing her jewelry. And remember, they held her up. Yep, they held her up. That trial is going on right now. Why did it take so long? That's so weird. That was so long ago. So Diddy's whole house got raided, and he's now on trial. But Kim's situation happened years ago. More than 4 years ago. More than 4 years ago. Yeah, so that's interesting. So some celebrities might be doing stuff to distract. Yes, distractions. Let's continue. Fair use.
Okay. You too. And I just want to tell our viewers as well before we move on that we did reach out to Sean Combs' attorneys today. We requested a statement from them, but we have not.
Fair use reaction clip.
Understandable, they are in trial. It's the busiest time for a lawyer. Coming up, 2 more arrests to announce after 10 men escaped from a New Orleans jail last week, but one was not one.
So, okay, there's people that's been released. They escaped from jail. That's going around. Okay, so let me see if there's any other topics I want to talk about. Y'all, at first when I came on here, I was like, oh, I'm only going to talk for 30 minutes. It's been already an hour and 30. So when I get going, baby, I get going. Okay, Justin Bieber's team has spoke out saying he did not have any, situations with Diddy. Let's see, Diddy. Okay, so this is day 6, so I want to get to that. Hold on. Fair use reaction clip. Fair use reaction clip. Let's get to it. Please like the video, you guys. Please double tap the screen. Please double tap the screen. There's about 483 in the building. Please subscribe and thank you. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's continue. Fair use. Paris is my only super chat for today. If you'd like to super chat to the page, thank you. If you want to subscribe, thank you. Because right now, I need to start putting out the Cash Apps and the Venmos and all that. Because maybe they'll be like, okay, her money's going over there. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip. But I do this for y'all. And I like talking. Let's continue. Okay, hold on, because their music starts in the beginning. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Hold on. Why is that taken? Okay, why is that doing that? Okay, here we go. Fair use reaction clip.
Morgan, she described witnessing Combs assaulting Cassie twice. The first time in a home Combs was renting in the Hollywood Hills. Morgan testified that, quote, I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her. The second time allegedly happened in Jamaica. Morgan says they were in the bar area of a home when, quote, I heard her screaming. She recalled guttural, terrifying screams. Combs faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted. He's pleaded not guilty and has denied all wrongdoing. We have our team of reporter and analysts closely following the case from inside the courtroom. Coming up a little later, we're joined in the studio by one of Sean Combs' close friends who has been at court every day of this trial. But we begin in Lower Manhattan with our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky. He was in court all day.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for keeping up. Yeah, I've been bringing out a TTT. What's happening inside the court, outside the court, and what the trending topics have been. Yes, I thank you all for being here, and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you all. Let's continue. Fair use. Good morning. Good morning. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. And turn on your notifications.
Joins us now outside the federal courthouse. Aaron, former Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money member Dawn Richard back on the witness stand today. She says she saw Diddy punch Cassie Ventura in the face. What was the reaction in the courtroom?
I think this jury has heard so much already that has been so graphic and disturbing that
Nope.
any one instant.
Let me go faster.
Because it made a turn, Eva.
On Combs that you know.
Oh man, funny.
Okay, this is perfect. We're about to listen to somebody that knows Diddy. This is perfect. At first they were talking about Dawn. We're past Dawn. This is allegedly somebody that knows Diddy. So let's get to it. We're about to hear a little bit something of it, and then we're about to get to somebody that knows Diddy. So we're going to hear how he feels about what's happening. Hold on. I watched this last
These
night.
photos matter. So this is really important. It's important in the sense that on the day that Sean Combs was
Give it about 2 minutes when Diddy friend is going to speak. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
arrested, this is what they found inside of his hotel room. And what they specifically found is what Cassie had been talking about all along. The setup for the freak off. There was a strobe light that was there. The drugs, the money, the baby oil. And specifically in terms of the money, remember that the second witness that testified, Mr. Phillip, that he was paid somewhere in a couple $100 up to $6,000. There was $9,000 that was recovered here, but hey, inflation, everything has gone up, right? So this testimony and these photographs actually corroborate the testimony of Cassie, and I'm sure that's going to corroborate the other testimony of witnesses that are going to testify, but pretty much showing a pattern of what these freak-offs encompass.
And again, these found the day he was arrested.
Yes, years later, and still we're freaking off.
Bernardo, thank you so much for being here. And still ahead, why there's so much interest in rapper Young Miami when it comes to this trial. And up next, one of Diddy's close friends spanning decades joins me live here in the studio. Stay with us.
Like the video, like the video. Like the video. Okay, now Diddy friends, they're about to talk about that. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Welcome back. You are watching Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. Tonight, a glimpse into Sean Combs' inner circle as the hip-hop mogul faces sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges, all of which he has denied. Joining us here in studio, Combs' longtime friends, Charlucci Finney. You have known Combs for 35 plus years. You got your sweatshirt on. We've seen you in the sweatshirt a lot. Free Puff.
Yes.
You've been sitting in the courtroom. And I understand he's actually choosing who of his circle gets to be in the courtroom with him. So you are very inner circle.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is the Sean Combs that you know?
Oh, man. Funny, kind, creative, just a visionary. He's a dad, he's a son, he's an uncle, he's a cousin, and he's my brother, he's my friend.
So many people not standing by his side in this moment. Why have you chosen to stay there?
I didn't have a choice. That's my brother, and I'm going to rap with him.
I have to ask you, he's charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He's pleaded not guilty. Does that sound like the friend that you know?
Absolutely not.
Do you think he did those things?
Absolutely not.
You seem pretty confident of that. Why are you so confident of that?
Because that's not who he is. Those are allegations, right? And they have to prove the allegations. They have to prove that. I've seen nothing, and no one else seen that. The only thing you're hearing about is domestic violence. You're not hearing anything about the sex trafficking. You're not hearing nothing. I'm waiting for the government to show us everything that they promised us. I'm talking about the viewers, friends, family. You said he did all these hellacious and crazy things. I want to see it.
Let's talk about some of what we heard in court. We've heard that testimony from Cassie, a lot about how he's controlled her life. Did you know him to be a controlling man?
Not really. I mean, he's pretty fair. I mean,
not really. He's pretty fair. We saw what happened on the tape. Are you kidding me? My goodness. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Choosing the nail polish and the clothes.
I mean, when you're in the music business, right, and you're creative and you're an executive producer, you can't just have your artists just running out, just any way they want to look. It's a look they have to have, right? She has to be clean. Her nails have to be done. Her hair has to be. It's a certain style you give the artist. And Bad Boy had a certain type of style that the artist presented. They represented Bad Boy.
Where was the line between artist and his girlfriend?
I don't. You would have to ask them. I don't know. All I know is that when you're developing an artist, you have an idea of how you want that artist to look. Prince didn't really walk outside with chaps with his butt out. He really didn't walk around the street like that, right? But that was his image, and that's what he needed. Michael Jackson didn't walk around the way he did when he walked on stage with the one glove and the shiny stuff. It's the image, and you have to stick with that image. If you're trying to create an artist a look, you have to go with the look.
There have been some shocking things discussed in court. The freak-offs, for one. Did you know about the freak-offs?
No.
You didn't know about the freak-offs. When you heard about the freak-offs, what were happening? Were you surprised?
No, I just thought that was a personal business. It was two consenting adults doing grown consenting adult things that they like to do.
Did you ever see or know of Diddy to get violent with Cassie or with anyone else?
No.
You never saw any violence
Never.
at all?
Never.
The surveillance video.
Is that not? Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say, y'all. I don't even know what to say. How do you... He's innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. A judge, jury's going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Thanks for being here. Everyone say hello to my friend Paris. She has been my mod for about 8 or 9 months. Everyone say hello to Paris. Yes. I think I'm shocked, but a lot of friends will hold you down through your BS. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
That is of the hotel. That has become pretty infamous at this point. When you watch that video, what do you see?
I see him in a domestic situation with a girlfriend, and it wasn't good. It's never good. It's never good for a man to put a hand on a woman or one put a hand on a man. Everybody should keep their hands to themselves. But that's domestic, and that's not what he's being charged with. He's being charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. I want to stick to that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that because that's.
So Cassie testified that was the one time she tried to leave a freak off. The defense has said she was free to go. Do you think she was free to leave?
Yes, I agree with the defense. They know more than I would know. That's not my area of expertise. But looking at it and understanding and hearing testimonies, yes, I agree with them.
The drug addiction, the drug use, did you know about that?
No, I did not.
Did you hear about the overdose? Did you have any idea?
Never about that.
You guys are pretty close. I mean,
Yeah.
35 years.
See, sometimes friends don't know everything. A man ain't gonna tell you that he got his girl being bust with a man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes men will tell you, this is what I got going on. I got this person over here. She got the children, and on the sidelines, I go over here. Not everybody tell everybody everything. And he sound like he didn't know everything, but he trying to hold him down as a friend. That's on him. Like the video, fair use reaction clip.
Yeah. But certain things, you don't tell the closest people everything. You tell them some things, but you don't tell them
Some
everything.
things,
So
exactly.
There's a private life. And that was his private life. That was their private life. And they shared that moment amongst them too.
I have to ask you, because people have noticed you and Sean Combs exchanging looks in the courtroom.
Yes.
What are the looks about?
He's telling me, don't worry about him. He's okay. He's focused. He's selfless. So he's concerned about how I feel, how his sister feel, how his mom feel, how his kids feel. He's telling everybody to be calm. I don't want y'all all upset. He's in jail worrying about us.
Because you've been walking his family in every day.
Yes.
Are
Wow.
you going to be there tomorrow?
I'm going to be every day.
Every day till the trial's over?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Every day.
Coming up.
So this is a friend and a bodyguard that's walking family and friends in. Not everybody knew everything. He was probably with Kim, R.A.P. to Kim Porter. Respect to Kim Porter. If Kim was here, would her story be very parallel to Cassie's? R.I.P. to Kim Porter. Where's Gina? Let's hear. Go back, you guys. Good morning. Go back and listen to some of Young Miami's interviews with Diddy. It sounds very similar to what Cassie went through. Cassie's not the only one. Go back and listen to Young Miami interview with Diddy and what she talked about. Yes, let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan, takes the stand, and there was a lot of interest in her online. What we know about her and why she says she had a falling out with Cassie when we come back.
So that's going to be interesting to hear what happened to the friends. I would not want any of my friends to get injured by a man that I am supposed to be with. That's not okay for a man to put hands on a friend.
In the Karen Reed murder retrial in Massachusetts, on the stand today, a DNA analyst, he testified about a hair sample taken from Reed's SUV, saying he's 95% sure that 99.9% of the
if she was alive. This would be so interesting. And that's the other thing. Why didn't Kim go to the hospital? Because he liked for his doctors to talk with his girls. He didn't want a lot of records to be out there of what was happening to women he was around. That's more control. He wanted to send private doctors, private what's the word I'm looking for when you get your face fixed? Private you know what I'm saying, when she got injured in the head. I don't even think she went to the hospital then. Private surgeons, plastic surgery. He wanted people that he knew to treat. When Cassie seemed like she had like flu-like symptoms, I don't even know if she went to the hospital. I think he sent a doctor to help Cassie when she had like flu-like symptoms. Yeah, that whole Kim situation, R.I.P. to Kim Porter. That whole situation. And then people are talking about her autopsy. People are talking about her autopsy on a different page. Yes, they're talking about what was in her system. Go look it up. People are talking about Kim's autopsy. Yes. What was in her system and what was found. Baby, concerning. So they might have needed to use Cassie to bring somebody down. Because what it was, the industry, Hollywood. Yeah, there's a lot that's being talked about. I'm cautious of what I say, but I give y'all a general, and y'all can kind of figure stuff out. But I'm cautious about what I say. Like the video, fair use, reaction clip. Yes, they did, Paris. Some of them are no longer here. Yes, some of them passed from similar illnesses. Yes. And see, Cassie, they might be utilizing her to take down because of all the allegations, because they can't prove what really happened to people that's no longer here with us. So people are speaking up and speaking out. Yeah, people are speaking up and speaking out. Now, are some of them, if they sign NDAs, if there's a criminal thing, the NDA don't even work if there's criminal activity going on. So the people that's no longer here, They probably is like, well, we got to do something. We can't keep letting this happen. So concerning. So concerning. So concerning. A lot of y'all really know what's been said. I'm cautious of what to say it and repeat it because it's alleged. A lot of these people did not go to the police. They did not go to the hospital. They did not go to the police. They did not go to the hospital. The time that they did bring a police officer around when Cassie got hit, I can't remember. There's so many situations of allegedly him trying to attack her. But when the police did, when Carrie, her friend Carrie called the police, Cassie sat there and acted like she didn't want to give her name. Because she knew if she had told on the diddler, if they went to Diddy's house, because let's go back, y'all. When somebody normally gets injured, hurt, sometimes the state can take the case over. Why didn't that ever happen in regards to the diddler? In regards to people are scared to testify and speak out. Why didn't the state ever take over a situation and take it on? Okay, we see she's bruised. Okay, we gonna file it. You know what I'm saying? We gonna, haven't you ever heard that? People getting injured, the wife, the husband. Okay, well, you don't want to testify, that's all right. We're gonna take the case on. We're gonna try him. We're gonna try her. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Evaluation can be excluded, but not excluded. John O'Keefe. Reed has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges in the 2022 death of her then-boyfriend, who was also a Boston police officer.
Okay, so now they talk about something else. Fair use reaction clip. So I think Cassie mom did a great job testifying yesterday. I think she did a great job. And they did not cross-examine the mom. I don't think they should have. Because her mom might have said something that might have, and they might have. And then this is the other thing. In regards to the court case, they're objecting to a lot for a reason. Objection, overruled. They're doing that for a reason because they're stating in regards to the Tory Lane case, there wasn't enough objections. Baby, what? Yeah, so certain things are happening in regards to Diddy's trial and the way that it's happening. Can't play that. Certain things are happening in regards to the trial in a certain way. So that way, if something does happen, if later on he tries to appeal, there's so many objections, they're going to use those appeals. They're going to use that in the appeal. Okay, fair use reaction clip. This is 4 days. I don't want to do that. 44 minutes ago. Let's go. Okay, fair use reaction clip. Let's go. Hold on. Fair use reaction clip.
His Miami Beach home, and he's going over the evidence that was collected from Combs's bedroom closet during the search. He described finding high-heeled shoes, cell phones, pills.
Well, this is the biggest thing. If Cassie family got extorted, that might have been, I'll give the money back if you come back. Some women that's in a situation, they stay, they get out, and then the person say, oh, I was intoxicated. Oh, I wasn't myself. And then certain situations get worse. And that's literally what we're seeing. Cassie's situation got worse and worse and worse. Some women and men are scared to tell their family because guess what? Sometimes their family member goes to jail and not the other person. It's twisted that way. And you would never want your uncle or your father to go to jail over your relationship. That's why a lot of people try and keep family members out of it. And you go to an event and he done told you off, and then you at the family event and the family looking at him like, why you here? It's like, oh, everything's okay. We're okay. No, we don't like him no more. You done already told us XYZ. We don't like him anymore. It takes the person, the man or woman, to get out of a bad situation. They're not going to get out of the situation unless they're ready, period. That person that's in a volatile relationship won't get out until they're ready, period, until they see it. And even if, just look at Cassie. Cassie still didn't leave Diddy after he tried to extort the family. Even though the money was sent back, Cassie should have never fooled with him again. And why did she go back? I don't understand it. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Cane, cash, a handgun, and you guessed it, bottles of baby oil. Well, remember, the Combs case happening in federal courts where cameras are not allowed to show it, but we're inside the courtroom and outside of the courthouse, and possibly today, possibly tomorrow, the government's going to call Scott Miss Cooley. Who is he? The musician known as Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi is going to be called to the stand. Court TV's Kelly Craft inside the courtroom right now. She's going to be coming out to give us an update a little bit later on the case. And why is Kid Cudi important? Well, because for a hot minute there he was dating Cassie, and that allegedly got Diddy mad, and he allegedly blew up Kid Cudi's car. So that could be what's known as a predicate crime that's alleged as part of this racketeering conspiracy. Another artist's testimony that was key in this case is the testimony coming in from former Diddy artist Don Richard. And what we've done is we've taken the court transcript of what she testified to and married it with some AI voice technology so you can go into the courtroom and hear what she said. Let's do that now.
Before the weekend, you testified regarding an incident involving an egg skillet in 2009 at Mr. Combs' residence. Do you recall that? Yes. You also testified that the following day, Mr. Combs called you back to his residence and made certain statements to you. Do you recall that? Yes. Can you please remind the jury the statements that Mr. Combs made to you at that time? That the relationship that he had, that the incident was of passion, and that Cassie was okay, and that if we say anything, that we could go missing. What did you understand him to mean?
So Dawn's statement is very important. They wanted to put fear in Dawn as well. They wanted to put fear in Cassie's friend as well. They, him, the team, wanted to put fear in regards to anybody that was near around. Watch what you do, watch what you say. You tell, you come up missing. That's what's being alleged. Hold on, Paris. Let me see. Fair use reaction clip. I'm reading it now, Paris.
That we could die. Miss Richard, how did you react when Mr. Combs threatened you in this manner? I didn't react at all. Was shocked, but also scared because it was our first time really getting started to record, and that was my first time really being in a group.
So that's what Dawn was saying. If he gonna treat Cassie like that, how would he treat me? I'm not even sleeping with him. So he wanted to put fear in people that was around to keep them in line. Fair use reaction clip.
With everybody. And I couldn't believe that this would be the beginning of the journey for us. The group you're referring to, Ms. Richard, is Diddy Dirty Money? Yes, Dirty Money. Following the incident in Mr. Combs' residence in 2009, did you continue to see Ms. Ventura while you were a member of Diddy Dirty Money? I did. Generally, where would you see her? In the studio, in hotels, events that we would have, performances we would have, and in the house as well. Generally, how frequently would you see Ms. Ventura? Frequently. After the incident in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles residence, were there other occasions when you observed acts of violence between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura? Yes. How frequently did you observe Mr. Combs being violent with Ms. Ventura? Frequently. Can you please describe for the jury what you observed generally? He would punch her, choke her, drag her, slap her in the mouth. I saw him kick her, punch her in the stomach. Prior to witnessing those incidents, were you able to observe the interactions between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura? Yes. And generally, based on your observations, what would prompt these acts of violence? It varied. It could be Cass speaking up for herself. It could be random. Like, we wouldn't even know where it came from.
So do y'all also realize he had dirty money? And what was Cassie doing? FOs. He had dirty money. What was Cassie doing? Why did he put Cassie on where she could be one of the girls from Dirty Money? He didn't want nobody else famous dating Cassie. He didn't want Cassie to be bigger than him, period. Real talk. Why didn't he make Cassie one of the members of Dirty Money? He didn't want to see, and it seems like he didn't want anybody to succeed over him. He wanted to keep control. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
It could be if she wanted to perform or she had an opinion about something. It just varied. And when you state that it happens sometimes when Ms. Ventura would speak up for herself, can you describe what you mean by that? Cass is like quiet. She would be quiet. She had a quiet demeanor. She was soft. And when she would have these moments of like trying to stick up for herself, trying to be more for herself, and he wasn't having that, he would hurt her for it. You also testified that members from his security staff would observe these incidents. Is that correct? Yes. Can you specify, Ms. Richard, who from Mr. Combs' security staff witnessed incidents of violence? D-Rock and Bonds. And can you please describe what D-Rock's role was for Mr. Combs? He was a bodyguard. He was also really close to Puff. Like, they were close like brothers. How would D-Rock and Bonds react to incidents of violence that they observed? They wouldn't react. They wouldn't do anything. Did you ever observe Ms. Ventura with injuries after these instances of abuse? Yes. Where on her body? Her face. When I say face, her eyes, her lip, her arms, her knees. How, if at all, would Ms. Ventura attempt to cover up or hide these injuries? With makeup, clothing, and sometimes sunglasses. Was there a time Ventura and Mr. Combs were in Mr. Combs' New York residence? Correct. What happened while you were in the residence? Kalina and I were in the bathroom getting ready, doing our makeup, and Puffy and Cassie were in the hallway arguing.
What did you observe happen next? He punched her in the face. Did he punch her with an open or closed fist?
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. There's about 665 in the building. Please subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
It was a closed fist. After Mr. Combs punched Ms. Ventura in the face with a closed fist, how did she respond? She came into the bathroom crying. He walked off angry, and she came in the bathroom. And we were with her, and it was really quiet. You could see her upset. Like, she was hurt. She was embarrassed.
So apparently I'm not 23 years old, I'm 13.
Hold on, let's let the commercial go past.
With my results back from Function Health. Apparently my biological age...
Hold on, let's let the commercial go past. Fair use reaction clip. Hold on.
Ms. Richard, what, if anything, would you discuss with Ms. Ventura about her music career? She wanted to put out her album, and I told her I would write for her. She wanted to do more modeling. She wanted to do well with her career. And I, myself and Kalina, we encouraged her to do that. We wanted to support her in any way that we could. Did you observe any discussions between Ms. Ventura and Mr. Combs about those career goals? Yes. And how, if at all, would Mr. Combs respond in those discussions? Mr. Combs didn't like that we knew or we talked to Cassie, and oftentimes we would pay for it. Ms. Richard, can you describe what, if anything, you recall Mr. Combs saying to Ms. Ventura in those discussions? Like, it was coming. But when he say it would come, he would also tell her, like, he owned her. And it was always wait for her. What was Mr. Combs' demeanor in these discussions? Sometimes it was just a moment of like, wait your turn, and it was regular. And then other times it was violent and volatile, and we would have to see that. Ms. Richard, what, if anything, would you tell Ms. Ventura after witnessing acts of physical abuse? We told her she should leave. How would Ms. Ventura react when you told her to leave? Cass looked torn. Like, she would listen, but I could see the fear. And what, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you after those discussions? He didn't like it when Kalina and I would talk to Cass because she would tell him, and then he would come and we would pay for it. What, if any, threats would Mr. Combs make to you? Y'all are going to pay for it. It's always you do this, or else something bad will happen to you. It was always that, like, a threat, that if you didn't stay in line, there was consequences.
See?
What was Mr. Combs' demeanor when he made these threats? Sometimes it was a stern, like, moment to say it, and other times it was loud, angry, violent, and like, it's mean. It was mean. Did anyone else speak to you specifically about your discussions with Ms.
And think about it, y'all. Would y'all want to be on the job and y'all boss treating you like this? Anybody in the industry should not be treated like this. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Ventura? Yes. Who was that? Harv Pierre. And what, if anything, would Mr. Pierre tell you? Harv said it gets dark and lonely. And Mr. Combs used to say this too. It gets dark and lonely if you don't listen. It was very much like, y'all need to listen to him. Y'all don't want to deal with what happens if you don't. And that was stated by Harv and Mr. Combs. What did you understand that when Mr. Pierre and Mr. Combs said it gets dark and lonely? I had seen and witnessed brutality in a way that I had to believe that if the person that was supposedly in love with did what he did to her, what would he do to an employee? I imagine it would be worse than that. How did you respond to these threats? I saw what if you spoke out looked like, so I would oftentimes approach Mr. Combs like with softness and like, hey, how are you? It was always very much like, if I do it this way, I maybe will have a better chance than what the other way looked like. Did you continue to try to intervene in Mr. Combs' relationship? No. I made a decision that it would be best for the safety of myself to not interfere, because I don't think she was ready to really do anything.
Push it real good.
So people were tried. People were like, okay, I can't say nothing. She not saying nothing and she not leaving. Have y'all ever seen a girl be with a man and she's just not ready to go? She's not ready to leave him. You can't force somebody to leave a bad situation. They have to want to do it. After he allegedly tried to take the money from the family, it was, even though the money was given back, Cassie stayed. Cassie stayed in a toxic relationship that was controlling and concerning. And nobody wants this for a mother or a daughter. Real talk. Talk to your friends. Talk to your friends. Make sure they're not in a bad situation. This is horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible, deplorable. And he's locked up. And that's probably why he did not get bail. Real talk. That's probably why he didn't get bail. They knew all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. We didn't know. Okay, so okay, he's in Dubai. He is not in New York. That got me. Because at first, when I was looking at the video, it did not look like New York. But then I kind of, wait a minute. Is he in, I don't know. Okay, so one of the persons I thought that was going to go live from New York may not be in New York. They got me. They got me. They got me. They got me. So that's good because that might have been kind of okay. All right, everyone. Let me see. What else do I want to cover? Okay. So, of course, I'm going to be listening on what's happening in the trial today. I was listening to some stuff that's happening today. It's being reported that Kid Cudi may testify. So, let's go through what the news is talking about. What are you saying, Paris? Or... Yeah, we speaking on the facts. Like I said, this is not my decision. A judge jury's going to have to decide if this man has done any wrongdoing. We're only talking about what's being reported. That's my job. That's what YouTube is. Some people were feeling bad for Cassie in the beginning, but then they start hearing how she was working with Diddy on certain things. Some people were feeling bad about the different band members, but then they started saying, okay, I got to act right because I could get injured. I could get hurt. That's control, and it's kind of sad. Any people that's around. So you got to realize some people, when they're interviewing, they don't want to talk bad about him because something alleged. They didn't want to talk bad because alleged, and y'all can fill in the blanks. Okay. That might be the reason why we see people saying what they say on interviews. That might be the reason why Cassie got on the stand saying, oh, I don't hate him. Sending message, oh, I miss you. Yeah, at some point we got to have a conversation. And then after this, oh, you said that on the stand? Oh, you said that on the stand? Oh, that's how you feel? Baby, there's people watching and listening. A lot of those YouTubers are brave to be out there. Somebody asked, am I in New York? No, what do I need to be in New York for? What do I need to be there for? I can hear all the information here. I don't need to be out there putting mics in people's faces, running up, trying to get information. No, I can do it safely right here. Real talk. And a lot of the YouTubers are doing a great job. I already told y'all who I listen to. Some of them are doing an amazing job covering the case, and they've covered other cases too. So many blessings to the YouTubers that's out there, reporters that's out there covering this case. Let me see. Okay, we've been live 2 hours. There's some stuff I have to take care of. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. There's about 454 in the building. Please double tap that screen, y'all. Please double tap that screen. Yeah, there's like 100 and yeah, y'all got to double tap the screen. If you're watching from a phone, all it takes is a quick double tap. And watch, Paris, this video probably got about 6,000 views, if not 7,000, if not more. Yeah, that's why I kind of be constantly saying, hit the like. You're watching from a phone, hit the like, subscribe. Yes, I'm definitely trying to get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year, y'all. Real talk, because I deserve it. And I get people just be listening, and they don't want to backtrack, hit the subscribe. They be like, okay, I don't see the subscribe on this page, so I'll do it later. So yes, please double tap the screen, you guys. But I thank you all for being here. I thank you for supporting the channel. Super chats are welcome. I have memberships over there. I'll bring y'all to TT. So I should be proud that people are listening. My friend was like, baby, 20 million? You go, girl. Work that channel. Oh, hey. Yeah. We laugh. I bring y'all to tea. And I debunk a lot of stuff too. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys. Oh, thank you for saying it's great to hear my voice again. I appreciate you too, Paris. And he knew what person to bring me. You're my only mod. You've been with me for 9 months. He knew who to bring me. That it's always like that. I connect with certain people. He knew who to bring me. You're the only mod. You're the only mod. And my page has how many? So if I start getting advertisements or anything like that, I'm gonna be cautious of what I put my name on. Not all money is good money. You know what I mean? So yeah. And if I start streaming from a different app, I'm wondering if I'm gonna get the same views. You know what I mean? Yeah, YouTube is loving it. They getting most of that loot, not me. But I love talking and I like to cover because you never know. What I say may help a woman that's in a bad situation. What I say may help a guy that's in a bad situation. It's just not men doing this to women. It's men and women having concerns in a relationship. Yep. And that's why we cover it the way we do. But I appreciate you all being here. Like the video as you guys come in. There's about 315 in the building. Don't forget to subscribe. Continue to hit the double tap the screen, y'all. Double tap the screen. We don't know who this could help. We don't know who this can help. And some celebrities probably had to change their ways and what they were doing and how they were doing it. Remember, Paris, when what was it, Bow Wow? No, I don't know who it was. Let me go back. Who was that? Said it's quiet right now. There's no parties. Was it Ray J? Yeah, it's quiet right now. There's no parties. A lot of celebrities are chilling out because they seeing how he's on trial. So hopefully people in the music industry can be paid fairly for their music. They can get decent contracts. People that are in acting, if you're in acting roles, maybe they have a producer that want to act weird. Maybe this will stop certain people from acting weird because you could be on trial. You could be next. Real talk. Hopefully this is going to save a lot of artists or people. Hopefully this helps a lot of people in their relationship. Hopefully. This is a serious thing. Yeah, some people have said that too. Some of the music that's coming out is not so great. Some of the award shows seem very concerning of what we're seeing. They're still trying to put out their narrative though. They got these young girls dressing in what? Hardly nothing. The music is not music again. Remember back in the day, you'd hop in your car, you be at home and you be jamming. Nowadays the music is not musicking. And people have gotten lazy. People have gotten lazy. And then look at all the greats that we've lost. And their catalog goes to who? And you're more valuable not being here. So concerning of the contracts. So concerning of the contracts. It's been for a while. It's been for a while. And they're still trying to mold this younger generation to do XYZ, to have the younger girls dancing and doing whatever. And then you got these, I'm watch what I say. Yeah, there's concerns in the music industry. There's concerns also in regards to acting. Some people say, okay, you want to you want me to hear you do this role, play this role. There's some creepy people out there. It's concerning. So hopefully people are going to do better, treat people better, and with respect. You figure when he got arrested, he was still ready to do a FO outside of Cassie. So who was Diddler going to meet with? Cassie wasn't with him no more. Who was he still doing FOs with after Cassie? That's the concern. That's the question. Hello? So are some of his ex-girlfriends going to take the stand? Or is he still dating someone? That's the concern. And we didn't really hear, let's go back. It's being reported that Cassie mom was ready to get at Diddy. Did y'all hear about that? Yeah. Cassie mom was ready to get at Diddy. What happened? Diddy allegedly told Cassie that, call your mom, check on your mom. As soon as she unlocked her phone, Diddy grabbed her phone. And then Cassie got around her mom, and Cassie mom was like, where's your phone? She was like, Diddy got it. Cassie mom was like, give her phone back. Cassie mom was ready to get at Diddy. Yes, she was. She was ready to get at Diddy. Cassie should have left Diddy alone. When you involve your mom, the family, he's taking your phone, he's taking your car, and who's to say to get that money back to her family, she might have had to go back. I'm glad that person said that. I was probably thinking that, but yeah, that might have been the agreement. That might have been the agreement. I'll give your money back to your mama, but to extort the family and then they have to put out a second mortgage to pay something to a guy that say he love you. If you love her, why are you treating her that way? If you love her, why are you putting hands on? If you love her, why are you threatening to put out a video of her? Because she knew that she wanted her career to explode. She would have been better off leaving him alone. She would have been better off staying with Ryan Leslie. She would have been better off trying to date a Chris Brown or a Kid Cudi. He didn't want her dating nobody else because he was worried that he couldn't continue to do what he liked to do. He didn't want her to, be with. And see, many people were like, why is it that Alex was okay and he didn't really have a problem with Alex? Alex was no competition for him. Alex was never in the music industry. But if Alex would have been in the music industry or a producer, Diddy probably would have had a fit about that. Diddy probably would have had a fit about, let me see. Diddy probably would have had an issue if Alex was somebody different and in the industry. Many people were like, how is it Cassie was able to be with Alex? At that point, she was with Alex for a while. But I think that he just didn't look at Alex as somebody that could overachieve him. Yeah. The industry, somewhere else. We talk about Hollywood. Cat Williams told us people are going to be exposed. There's about 484 people in the building. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Please double tap the screen to hit the like button. Thank you. Please double tap the screen to hit the like button. Thank you. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Can I please get 400 people to double tap that screen? Thank you. 400 people to double tap that screen. 400 people to please subscribe as well. Thank you. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So this case, this situation, people speaking up, speaking out, like we talked about, the mom spoke up and testified. Diddy's ex-assistant spoke up and testified, and the assistant was over it. The assistant was over it. He quit. So let's see here what is going to happen. Will the driver speak up? Will his bodyguard speak up? Will KK, Diddy's right-hand person, allegedly is KK. Will KK have to testify and speak up? Yep. Because you got to remember, the man that was in prison that did not make it, who his right hand was, she's in prison. Y'all understand. I'm talking in code, but y'all get it. Y'all smart. Y'all been on my page. The man that's no longer here, his right-hand person's in prison. So let's see what happens. People are saying it's interesting that it's Diddy that's in jail. Why aren't some of his people in jail? We'll see. We will see. We will see. We will see. Okay, fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I will try and post shorts after. There's a lot of great shorts I wanted to post, but I had to go live. A lot of those shorts I wanted to post, man, I would have been posting for about an hour. There was some great stuff I saw today. So I might post my shorts later. I might keep this phone running so I can still see those shorts that I want to post, y'all. It's a video of Cassie being young, talking that she wanted to be famous. There's other videos. So I'm going to try and do it. If the phone click off, I won't be able to get them. But yeah. Sometimes when I try and save it from this phone be like, save? I'm not saving nothing. So yeah. And then I was kind of just scrolling saying, okay, what do I want to talk about? And then it just popped up. So if I keep this phone and I can do those shorts, that'll be great. Yes, continue to hit the like button, you guys. There's about 547 in the building. I hope we can get to 37K today. I hope we can get to 37K. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Thank you. We're trying to hit 1 million by the end of the year. Yes, I'm going to claim it. I'm going to claim it. Yep, I'm going to claim it. We're trying to hit 37K. So for the 412 in, if all y'all subscribe, I will hit 37K. If all 400 of y'all subscribe, I will hit 37K today. So please subscribe and thank you. Yeah, please subscribe and thank you. Like I said, a judge, jury's going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing on his side, but it don't look good, y'all. And don't get confused by people saying they don't see it. It ain't for you to see. This trial is week 2. It's supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks. I think 6 weeks of a trial. People don't want to see it because some of these people are very similar to him, men and women. Some of these people are very similar to the diddler and what they do, how they handle a relationship. Men and women should be treating each other like kings and queens, and you should be respectful with the person you're dating and around their family. To extort the family for 20K, allege, and return it. That's still extortion. You asked for it. Diddy threatened to release video of Cassie. Cassie got scared. There ain't no way you going to tell my family you want some money from us, and the family has to take out a second mortgage to get that money to protect their daughter. So concerning. So concerning. So prayers go out for Cassie because something wasn't right. The substances, the control. Be careful who you date, people. Men, women, be careful who you date. Be careful who you have kids by. Some people go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when you got kids by them. Yeah. Look at Kim and Kanye's situation. Kanye can't see his kids, but Kanye been talking a lot of stuff. Kanye should have been not saying some of the things he was saying privately to his friends. But Kanye goes live, he say what he say, and then that's avoiding him from spending time with his kids. But you knew who you was marrying, Kanye. You knew who you was having kids by. Be careful who you marry. Be careful who you have kids by. Real talk. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. I'll do a few shout outs. Don't forget, you guys, the Cash App is available. Thank you, Paris, for the Cash App. The memberships are available. Thank you, Paris, for doing the Cash App. I appreciate you guys for being here. Real talk. Yep, a lot going on, Cassie and Diddy. So this is week 2, week 3. Because remember, there was the jury selection. That's week 1. Last week, week 2. So this is week 3. Week 3, day 7 or 8. Something like that. Yeah, there's more to go. There's more to go. There's more to talk about. Okay, everybody. All right. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for subscribing. There's about 464 in the building. If 400 people subscribe today, I will hit 37K. So please subscribe. I work hard. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a blessed day. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Be blessed, everyone. Goodbye. Be blessed.